I'm a fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Danny McGough. Dude, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man. First of all, thanks for driving out here. I didn't realize that you live further away, but we were talking about music, and I was like, we got to jump in right here because we're talking about people who are too cool to like objectively good music, even if you like, you mentioned, I mentioned the Beatles, you mentioned Smash Mouth.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Dude, Smash Mouth, like, yeah, maybe they never had like a full, complete, amazing album, but the great songs that they had were great songs.
Yeah, like
and I would go to that concert and enjoy it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. I think I really like Smash Mouth a lot. They came out with a new song called Underground Sun.
Didn't he pass away?
Yeah,
he
did. It was
song?
right before he died,
Jeez.
right before he died.
So are you like a big Smash Mouth fan?
I wouldn't say huge.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't know if you were
yeah.
like, I got a whole shrine at home.
No, I listen to a whole lot of music, too much. Yeah, so
How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're too young to like Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth's for everybody, man.
Dude, well, so I'm about to turn 40, but Smash Mouth was like my prime teenage years.
Dude.
You know, when they were coming out. And, like, you know, there's these generations of great music. And I'm not saying mine is the best, but it was one of the best generations of music of like 90s and 2000s, like rock music specifically. Because you had bands like that where maybe you didn't love them, maybe you didn't hate them, but they at least had their own kind of individual style. And I don't know. I'm not convinced you could make bands like that right now. I think people are too judgy. I don't know what I think they look at, like they would look at that band and go, I don't think it's a cool enough band. It's like, that's a really fucking cool band.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
I think the same way. I really like. I'm a hair band guy. Big into Van Halen and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's how we're talking about this. You said somebody was saying like Kiss is terrible.
Yeah, it's like
Look, you can not like Kiss.
I know.
You can say you don't like it. That's fine. It's a good band.
Exactly.
It's a good band.
What I always think about is like I think that the golden age of listening to what you want is right now, but it's the worst age for what's popular. You know, does that make sense? Like you can find anything you want now. It's like great.
Well, you know, when I started this podcast, the very early episodes, I was mixing in music that I liked, and I wasn't doing big famous people. I would try to find independent artists that I really enjoyed. I'd play like a song or two at the front, and then close it out with a song in an effort to, you know, be like an outlet to promote some cool music, you know, or music that I think is cool at least. And it got too hard once I started putting it on YouTube to get the clearance where it wasn't like a copyright strike.
Oh,
so like the band would be like, yeah, definitely use the song, but then you have to get them to go through their distribution, because what happens is the algorithm picks up you're playing this song, and it says, whoa, you're not, you know, this band, so why are you illegally playing this? And then it says you got a copyright strike. And, you know, they say that it doesn't cause anything negative. You just won't be able to monetize it. But, I mean, I can't help but think if I had, like, 100 copyright strikes, that's going to limit my views or something.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I could see that happening. That's crazy.
I'm hoping the show will get big enough that that process would get easier. But, you know, I love doing it because I miss those one of the golden eras of my youth was radio was still kind of cool.
Yeah.
Radio
that's
sucks
awesome.
now.
Yeah,
know?
I agree.
And
I listen to sports radio. That's pretty much it. I think that's fun.
I'm the last generation of music radio that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Where, especially here, are you from DFW originally?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had good radio stations where you would find a mix. Like one station might play like Smash Mouth, Kiss, Rage Against the Machine. It was like a wild blend of rock music across the board, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
awesome.
Like most things, you know, corporations took over it all and watered it down and made it lame.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when streaming came in, no one wants to listen to radio now, where you have commercials every 10 minutes or whatever it is. But I miss having people that you could kind of trust to curate just a good playlist for you, basically.
Yeah,
it's
I really like that.
It's just not the same with streaming. You know, people try really hard on like Instagram and TikTok to go like check out these bands, but it's just tougher than when you're driving over here. You know, it's like if you're in a car for 30, 40 minutes. And you can just kick on the radio and there's great music, you're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I've been getting into Sirius XM lately. First time the car I have just came with it, so I've just been diving into that. But I really like it has a whole hairband station, so I'm like, this is great. Like,
what are some of the other hair bands you like?
I like Cinderella. Yeah. I like Trickster. I like. I think Kiss was the original hairband in my opinion, but
yeah, I'm not sure who kind of really kicked it off.
Yeah,
man, there's a great documentary about He was the manager for a lot of bands, but the story I'm thinking of is with Alice Cooper. He was Alice Cooper's manager.
Yeah.
And they went into all this stuff like when Alice Cooper was trying to get popular. And it was fascinating. And one of the things they were doing, they were trying to sell Outrage, right? So they had like a stadium or something booked. I want to say it was like in London or something. I don't know. And they really weren't moving tickets. So they like didn't know what they were going to do. They're like, and there's no social media. So they're trying to figure out like, how can we piss everyone off so that the kids think we're cool and buy tickets to the show, this week or whatever. So they like had a billboard with him on it in some kind of like seductive pose. Maybe there was like a snake or something covers his crotch. I can't remember.
Right.
And they had to accidentally break down in like the major intersection of, London or something. And, so police come out, people get arrested, and they're like, the truck won't start. I don't know what to tell you. And everyone's calling in complaints. And then sure enough, boom, they sell tickets.
Dude, heck yeah, that's awesome.
But the other story I loved out of it was they wanted to get the police called on them for performing naked. So they were in this club, and they were just thinking like, oh, we'll just get this controversial press. So we're in this club. They're wearing clear, I don't know, maybe like a raincoat, like a clear raincoat or something. So they're thinking we're going to come out on stage. We're totally nude under this clear thing. They'll call the cops. Boom. And the manager was going to be the one to call the cops and say, like, these dudes are down here naked on a stage. Come arrest them. So they do the whole plan. They're up there playing nude. Crowd's kind of freaking out, but I guess they're fans, so they're going with it. The manager calls the cops, but by the time the cops got there, the club was warm and they were sweating under there, so the suits just fogged up.
Okay.
So when the cops got there, they didn't see anybody naked. It looked like they were just wearing raincoats or something with the fog, And they're like, well, I guess it was a bad tip. And they just bailed.
That's awesome. I love stories like that. That's cool.
You get a lot of those wild stories with that era of like rock and roll, though.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You done media train all over you.
Is that part of the reason you grew your hair long? You just love the hair bands?
Yeah, I saw Van Halen when I was like third grade. My brother showed me. I was like, forever long hair.
So your older brother took you to Van Halen?
He didn't take me, but he just showed me a bunch of music videos and stuff.
That's cool, man. That's a band that people love to hate, too.
What? I've never met anybody who hated Van Halen.
I play guitar. And there are guitar players that like respect the guitar prowess of Van Halen, but they'll criticize the music, like the music's shitty.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just cool to hate popular things.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
like I really dig Sabrina Carpenter. I'm a big fan of her.
I just haven't dove in on her stuff yet.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's got a little more disco. It's like not great, but it's a little more Madonna than like Billie Eilish. So it's like I dig that. That's kind of like a cool thing. I think.
I mean, I don't care what, like, when it comes to pop music, do what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
I don't care about that, because pop music is always inherently a little more, like, it's cool, but, like, if you're gonna get the masses to love it, it's never going to be the most interesting thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I'm at a bar and your music's playing or something, is it fun music? Then great. To me, that's what pop music is.
Right.
So I've never had any hate towards anything like that, because, I mean, every generation has its Madonna version, so if that's what she's doing now... like Lady Gaga was the Madonna, and then there's people who are like, Madonna was Cher.
Right. I can see that. Yeah.
But no, I think it's got its place, man. I love all music as long as it's kind of written with some form of sincerity.
Yeah, I like that too.
It's fine with me, man.
I really like Boston. Is huge.
Maybe one of the greatest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to start writing. I like to write these little written pieces every now and then, and I'm going to start a segment where I just talk about what I think are perfect albums.
Yeah.
So like maybe once a month I'll be like, I think this is a perfect album.
Yeah.
Boston's one of those.
Yeah, it should be. I think
it
that's
is,
crazy.
man. Like it just front
you,
to back.
Yeah. Him and the guy who started it. His name's escaping me right now. Oh, it's crazy. I talked about him all the time.
Yeah.
But him and Todd Barry, the comedian, they're probably like my biggest like creative lifestyle influence.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
okay.
Like how I would want to live my life. Like, you know what I mean? It's very cool. Like I really like...
well, how are they living? What do you mean?
Like, I saw an interview with Todd Barry, and he was talking about how he lives in just New York, right next to a comedy club. He's got all his essentials, and then he just goes back and forth every day. That's all he does. And that seems great to me. You know
so
what
you
I
like
mean?
the idea of just living in your little bubble?
Yeah, living in a bubble with
want?
everything that you want around you. Like, you still get out. You're not a hermit or anything, but, like, doing all that stuff. And then him, the Boston guy, he really hated the spotlight, didn't really like any of that stuff. They called him the most un-rock and roll guy of rock and roll. And he graduated from MIT, and he made a lot of these sounds. He made that entire first album that you're calling perfect in the basement of his apartment complex.
Because we're talking about the one where it's got those great hits.
It's got More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Foreplay a Long Time. It's got all those. And man, oh my gosh. That's
so you said he made all those where?
At the basement of his apartment. Now, this is what I heard. It might be a Wikipedia thing. Check it. But I'm pretty sure that's how it was made or whatever. And
well, what I always do with those bands, like, I mean, I've listened to Boston forever, but then it's like it comes back around on you, 5-10 years later or whatever. And now you're like, oh, I bet there's all these live performances I can find on YouTube. And when I just love seeing these old bands who nail it flawlessly live. And you're like, oh yeah, they just did this. Yeah. This is just what they do. Because, like Peace of Mind, for instance. I mean, some of those high notes he hits.
Yeah, it's
you're just
bananas.
thinking, no way,
Yeah.
no way. That's some studio magic he got going on. And then you watch a live performance, and you're like, damn,
Yeah, it's nuts,
so
man.
good.
Yeah, so
and
good.
I will criticize like our era of music right now, like in 2025. I think that's I don't think we're celebrating that enough. Like quality musicians, quality singers writing their own music.
No, for sure. Yeah, but
You
like
know?
I said, I think it is the golden age of finding that. Like, I don't think it's. I
Yeah.
think it's out there, just not as big as it was.
Well, like,
It's
you know, we
not
just-
going to be as popular.
We just had the Grammys, and it's like as much as we're talking about hating on good musicians, like look, I think Beyonce is a good music or a good pop star. She's a good pop star, but like, is that the best we had to offer this year?
Yeah, kind of
this
that's the
year.
thing. Yeah.
It's not taking away from Beyonce. It's just like, if you're just making up from the Grammys she didn't get, I guess whatever. But it's lame.
Yeah, it's lame.
And it's like, do you remember any of the? Was there like a rock category this year that you remember? Did you
Nope.
watch any of it?
Not at all.
I don't watch any.
Zero.
Of that.
I don't watch any of that.
And that used to be like the thing. Like it used to be pretty well rounded, but I know all those acts are out there. It just seems like it's harder and harder for them to break through.
Yeah, I think so too.
Where do you think you find most of your music right now?
Probably through. I have Apple Music, and I got a radio station, and I have a Discovery station, and it's got all my data, so it just gives me stuff that I like.
Do you think that that's good to get stuff that it thinks you like though?
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both is good. Hearing it from other places and hearing it from there.
Somebody was talking about that. I can't remember who. I wish I could remember, but it's definitely not my idea. But they were talking about how all the people that Van Halen, for instance, right? If Van Halen was a new band, that would not have found its way in your suggested listening.
Yeah, that's scary.
Because it's
to think
very
about.
different
Yeah.
than the other stuff, right? Jimi Hendrix wouldn't have made it in there. Huge bands that are just different. You know, Nirvana would not have made it through the algorithm.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing quite like that yet, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
So that's kind
very
of the
true.
scary part. Like, Frank Zappa was talking about. He wasn't talking about streaming, but he was talking about record executives. How, like in the, I guess 50s and 60s, a lot of weird music was coming out, like different than kind of previous stuff. And it was actually these stuffy dudes in business suits that were putting all this music out because they'd be like, do you think this is going to sell? And they're like, I don't know, but put it out. They'll buy it. Let's see what happens. And so they were giving kind of weird, different music a chance, and it would sell.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is kind of the opposite of what you think. And then what he was saying is actually hurting music is that the cool people would start a record label, and they would put a lot of the music they like on there. So you would end up having like a homogenized record label. And you
Yeah.
would have like 5 bands that are kind of all in the same genre. And that he felt that was worse for music.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which
Yeah,
is just an interesting take on it. I don't really know.
yeah, I don't know either.
But-
Yeah,
I think about it a lot. I mean, we were talking about this band, Brave Little How. They're a local band. I don't think they're like the best local band. I think they're just like a phenomenal band. Like
Yeah.
now I'm not saying local, like, and they play more of a like an indie rock. I guess you'd say like an Americana. So there's like 3 or 4 part harmonies that they do over, music that's kind of driven by like guitar and piano and stuff.
yeah, very cool.
And just great songwriting, great lyrics, great musically, and then they've got these beautiful voices, and they're mildly popular locally. But it's
Yeah.
like, of all the stuff you hear, it's like, man, they should be a lot more popular.
Exactly, I think about that too. This band
And-
right
and-
here, the
who is it?
The Yes Man Band.
The Yes Ma'am,
Yeah.
Yes Ma'am band.
Yeah, they
Okay.
kind of sound like the Allman Brothers. They got that piano sound.
Oh, okay.
And some blues songs too. My friend showed me them actually. I don't know if you've had him on, Jacob Marshall. He showed me them.
No, he's somebody I've been trying, and I'm so sorry, Jacob. I've been trying and trying and trying to watch him, but I think he does a lot of his shows out in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
And it's hard for a while there, every time he would book a show, I was on call for work. And I was like, I feel like you just know my schedule, and this is
Yeah.
when you're doing your shows. And then it's just been, I can't line up my off day with his shows. But I
Yeah.
keep hearing all these people say nice things about him.
yeah,
Funny guy,
he's great. He's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry, you were saying he showed you the band?
Yeah. We went to go see them locally. They were amazing.
Is it a
man.
local band?
Yep, totally local. I think 1,000 followers or something.
Oh, well, I got to check it out.
Yeah,
then.
it's pretty
That's
good.
I mean, that's what I love to do. I feel like it's harder to find these local bands, too.
Yeah, I
It's
think so,
just,
too.
It's tough. And again, not to just talk about my youth always, but growing up around here, going to Deep Elm when the live music venues were just thriving,
Heck yeah.
and you could catch local openers on these national touring, like some huge band. I mean, Nirvana played Trees. and that there was probably a local opener on that show.
Man, that's crazy.
And it just doesn't happen as much now, and it's like I want to know who these local bands are all the time, and it's hard to get that. Like you said, it's almost there's so much information hitting you, you can't really feel where to dial it in. Where did you watch their show at?
The Deep Ellum Art Company, I think that's what it's called. Art something.
Oh yeah, it's over off of Elm Street, or not Elm Street, Commerce. Deep Ellum Art Company.
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, my old studio used to be across the street from them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. But it was a good show.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was Christmas themed. They were all dressed up in Christmas stuff. It was great.
Yeah. Well, what is it about? Like, what do you think it is with new music when it hits you that makes you like it?
I don't know, man. I just know when I know. You know?
What about this band specifically? Yes Man Band?
Yeah.
All right. I want to keep talking about them. Just
I
'cause
really
they're
like
local.
the upbeatness of the songs. I really like happier songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's crazy because the guy was Jacob. He likes sadder stuff, and they play that. They play that too. So it was like we really had a crossroads there because we don't like the same type of music at all.
Yeah.
And then we had like a kind of a cross there.
That's pretty cool. So was he just like, hey, I'm going to a show. You want to come with me?
Well, he showed me them earlier, and then he told me they were coming, and I was like, heck yeah, I'll go. It was on my birthday. Yeah, he took me on my birthday.
That's cool, man. Yeah. I'm happy to hear that 25-year-olds like yourself are still finding like joy in going to live shows and finding music and stuff.
It's fun. I don't go to a lot at all. I think I seen 3 concerts in my life. I saw Greta Van Fleet, Def Leppard, and these guys.
Okay, knowing you have good musical taste, I want to talk to you about Greta Van Fleet then.
Yeah, for sure. Bring it.
Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
Dude,
Why don't we just say new Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, to say new Led Zeppelin. I think they have more of a garage sound, like, in my opinion, but I'm not being like, they don't sound like that.
I don't hate them, by the way. They're phenomenal.
I think so, too. And I just don't like it when people are like, they sound just like Led Zeppelin.
But
I'm
they
like,
do.
so? Like, who cares?
Yeah. I don't hate it, but I'm just saying, like,
I think the denial sucks. Like when
do they say that they sound like Led Zeppelin?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to put words in their mouth.
Sure.
But I don't like it when people are like they suck because they sound like them.
No, they definitely don't suck.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
That goes back to hating it because it's easy to hate stuff. But no, but I mean, it's just the first time someone showed me it, I was like, are there Led Zeppelin songs I haven't heard? They're like, this is Greta Van Fleet. And I was like, oh, who?
Yeah,
and they explained. I was like, so what are they from, like the 70s? You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but I also just wonder, like, I would love to talk to them and see how they came to that sound.
Yeah,
like,
for
were
sure.
they just a Led Zeppelin cover band and they're like, well, let's just write a couple originals?
Yeah, they're so young.
Because it's
though.
fine if you're inspired by all that. I don't care. But I don't know. I think it'd be hilarious if they came out with like an alter ego and it was just like a totally different.
yeah, like Deep or whatever. Yeah, that'd be great.
Have you watched them? You said you did watch them live?
Yeah, they were great. Phenomenal.
Was it a big like how many tickets did they sell, do you think? Was it a
They
huge
sold out
place?
Dickies Arena, but I could be wrong.
Dickies Arena, so that's a big venue.
Yeah. I really don't like the new stuff, though. I feel like it sounds too...
I couldn't pick out a new or old song because every time I hear it, I just think...
yeah, I gotcha.
It's a Led Zeppelin song I haven't heard. And it's not that I think it's bad. It just doesn't hit me. Like, if I was there in person, I would be having the time of my life.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But I've never thought, I really want to listen to this.
Wow, okay, I gotcha.
I think I'll just listen to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I know
Which
I know is shitty. But
so you think it's like watered down Led Zeppelin?
I don't even think it's watered down. It just reminds me of the Led Zeppelin songs I love.
Okay, I got you.
Right?
So you'd rather go listen to this.
Yeah, it would be like, oh, that made me think of this. I got to check it out real quick.
Okay.
It's almost like, oh, that's so good. It made me think of this. I need to listen to that.
Okay.
But I never think the other way. Like a Led Zeppelin song never reminds me, oh, I should check out that Greta Van Fleet album.
Okay.
Again.
See, it does to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
I mean, they're doing fine.
Yeah. And I know I said I didn't like their new albums. That's not true. I really do like them. I just think they're going like in an ethereal direction.
Oh.
And I wonder if it's because of the Led Zeppelin thing. They're trying to be more...
They gotta, any band, even if they didn't sound like Led Zeppelin, you gotta slowly change and adapt, right?
Right.
You can't make that same album 4 times or whatever, you know. It's really hard. Did you get into them on their first album?
I think it was like their second or whatever. I was in community college, so yeah.
Do you think the second album was your favorite?
The first was probably my favorite.
Okay. Because I always wonder with bands, comics even, like, do people think their best work is the first work that they heard because it kind of like you didn't know anything about the band, so it blew your mind. And then when you listen to a different album, you think, well, I already know kind of what I'm expecting here.
Right.
And so maybe it blows your mind less.
It could be. It could be.
I don't know. But
yeah.
the first album is usually incredible for most bands, though.
Yeah. Like somebody told me with stand-up, and I thought about it, and I was like, kind of right. Like they said you get 3 before it starts being worse with stand-up, is what I've heard. Most of the biggest comedians, you get 3 albums. And I think there's exceptions for sure.
Who do you think has more than 3? That's
I think
phenomenal.
Louis and Nate Bargatze have above 3 that are really, really good. And there's others too. I don't listen to a lot of stand-up. I used to, but I don't really anymore.
Stand-ups, it's not hard to listen to because when I first started this podcast, I was working with a different guy, Nathan, who's an audio engineer. And we had these dreams of recording stand-up albums. But it's like video's king now, so nobody's really into that.
Yeah.
But talking about like streaming, when I would go on a road trip, I would use Pandora, and I would just do like shuffle stand-up comedy.
I can't do that. I can't do that at all.
I felt like it made the road trip just go by fast.
No, I listen to an album, but I can't do like switch between different stand. I mean, again, I haven't listened to stand up in forever, but I could never listen to like.
You need to like
one
get in the flow.
I got to get one flow. Like,
I mean, they would give you like a 7-minute bit. It wasn't like a joke.
Yeah, I get it. It's just I can't switch between them like that. I can switch between. I can listen. I used to be able to listen to like 2 albums in a row, but I can't do that anymore.
You know what used to drive me nuts? I very briefly went on like a couple dates with a girl who. She didn't listen to a radio station. She would hit seek, where it just scanned the stations, and it never stopped.
Gotcha.
That's how she would drive.
Oh, man.
So it was just like 10 seconds, of a song, and then 10 seconds of a song.
I can't do that
10
at
seconds
all.
of a song. And she was just cruising like that. And I was like, did you like any of those? Or are you just waiting for a good song? She's like, I'll just do this sometimes.
Oh, my God. That's awful.
Like, ooh.
Dump her. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It didn't work out. There were other reasons, but that didn't help. Yeah. I don't know, man. Let's see. Nate Bargatze's definitely having like his hot moment.
Yeah.
I've accidentally talked about him a ton on this show.
Yeah, he's my all-time favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people struggle to realize with comedy is like you can love Nate Bargatze and Louis C.K.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I don't need, only one. I like both a lot.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to fight you on that.
I think there's those people who think, there's those people like you got to be clean, and then there's people who think clean comedy sucks.
Yeah, I do think there's
those
that.
types
of
that type of nonsense where it's like I would be thrilled to watch both of them on the same show
for sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of comedy, man, I got to see you at the new Rose City.
Oh, very
Tyler,
cool. Yeah,
with the grand opening, man.
Yeah, that was.
Or
fun.
we did the soft opening, right?
Yeah, we did the soft opening. The grand opening was the next night.
Yeah. Did you do the grand opening also? No, just the soft opening.
Just the soft opening.
How cool is the new spot, by the way?
It was very nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Were you there from the beginning at the cell phone shop?
Yeah, I was.
Okay,
yeah.
because that's why most of y'all were on that show, right? Y'all were like the early supporters of Rose City, and that was his way of being like, thanks for sticking with me this long,
yeah,
right?
it was very fun. Yeah, I loved going up there. Actually, when I got booked there, I was back then. I was in a car wreck. I was in a wheelchair, and I did the whole set on a wheelchair.
Could that stage fit a wheelchair?
No.
I never went to that one in person, but they showed me the pictures of that narrow,
yeah, I didn't.
tiny stage.
So I got out of the chair, and then I hopped to the stage, and then I just stood there with the mic stand and my leg up, and did my whole set like that until one of the audience members was like, "Hey, there's a chair right there," and I was like, "Thank God!" and it just sat down.
Did you break your leg in the car accident? Is that what was going on?
So, I don't know what, but the thigh bone. I don't know what bone's
femur?
called. Femur. Yeah. Yeah. It shoved into my hip and just whoosh, and
Oh, so it kind of broke into it.
yeah,
You're saying
it broke into it,
Whoa.
and so I had to have surgery and stuff, and so I was in a wheelchair for a long time.
Did they give you a rod or a plate in there?
Yep, we got a metal
Is it
thing
on the
right hip.
outside?
No, it's on the inside. What
So
do you mean the outside?
Well, so some of them are plates that they just put on the outside. Like if this was your bone, it'll just kind of sit on the outside, and then some of them go inside your bone.
Do you mean the outside of your skin?
No, it's on the inside of your skin, but it's on the outer
Okay.
outer edge of your bone.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
No,
Who
did
knows?
they ever send you any X-rays of it?
No, my dad said you should look at the surgery, and I didn't want to look at it.
You want to look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it still hurt?
Sometimes, yeah, but I run every day, so it doesn't hurt
Doesn't
that
hurt
bad.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So the first show, or not the first show, but the first place, you were standing up there hobbling on one leg till they got you a chair.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming you performed at the next location with the pallet wall, right? behind
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I did.
And then now you've done that. Be honest though, as beautiful as the new club is, and I'm so happy they have that new club. How much are you going to miss the pallet wall version?
A lot, because and he mentioned that. He mentioned he might have old shows at that the old place or whatever.
Oh, he still has access to it?
Yeah, he still has that. He lives there, man. Like,
okay, I never wanted to say it on here because I went like to the bathroom there in the back one time where the comics are hanging out, and I was like, I think this is a house.
yeah, it is, man. It's crazy.
Because I was talking to my wife, we would love to open up a comedy club.
Dude, that'd be great. He's living every burnt out stand-up comedian's dream of like living and owning a club and booking who you want.
She was asking me, she's like, how does he do it? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's his home.
Yeah.
And that's how he does it, by offsetting his living stuff.
Heck yeah.
That's how he was able to keep that one going with, because you know what? He could probably only sell, what was it, maybe 40 tickets to that show? That was probably sold out, right?
Yeah, it was like 40. I think he got it up to 50 or 60 at one point. But yeah.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I'm proud of him. And like the new venue is going to be incredible for that town and for him and the comics. Everybody's going to win off of it. But I will miss that old location.
Yeah.
There was just a charm to it that was just, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I only got to watch one show there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
One show. Because, I mean, it's a 2-hour drive for us. But it was great. I always told people if you're heading that way, you got to check it out. But so do you think it's still set up over there? Like you could just come in and do a show?
Beats me, man. I hope he kept
Surely
it all
he
up.
didn't take it down.
It's a lot of work to take it down.
Yeah. I mean, if he's doing that, surely he has ambition of like you could run 2 spots.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it, and I hope he goes through.
Why not?
Yeah.
You could still use the smaller club for the up and comers, and then try them out on the big stage.
Yeah.
This dude's going to build an empire out there.
Yeah, I think
Shout
that
out
would be
to
really cool.
Well, what do you call him, Christopher or Shy?
I call him Shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I came in late on his life because he's Christopher.
Yeah.
Because I had to ask him. I was like, dude, am I just calling you the wrong name? What's going on? He's like, no, it's Christopher.
Yeah, we look like so much alike. Like when I put my hair up and my sweater and everything, we get confused with each other all the time.
I know you've gotten this before, but Daniel Magden.
Yeah, everybody tells. I've never met him, and people always come up to me. They say, you sound like him and like you look like him.
I mean,
you
definitely, we can tell you apart. It's not like that bad, but it was the first time I saw you. I hadn't seen him in a long time. I saw you at open mic or something, and I didn't hear them call your name. Like I must have come out of the bathroom or walked in the door. I think it might have been at like Mad Hatter or something out there. Do you go to that open mic?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, every Monday.
And I was like, I had to look for a second. It's like, have I had a couple beers and I just don't recognize Daniel anymore? And then I was like, it's definitely not Daniel.
Yeah.
And then I think I got to chat with you once, maybe there like out in the back or something. And yeah, it's just astonishing. Like maybe you guys, are half brothers or something.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. Some chick got real mad at me. Like,
did she think you were him?
She thought I was him, and I didn't recognize her, and she got like mad. It was nuts.
What did he do to her?
I think she was mad that I didn't recognize. She was like, I thought, oh, you moved to LA, now you're some hot shit or whatever, and like you don't recognize me.
So you never got to work with him?
No, I've never even met the guy.
Y'all have to be on a show.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still doing stand-up.
I really want to look up his stand-up. I hear he's great. I hear he's really funny.
I really liked him. He was actually the very first guest on this podcast.
No
ever.
way.
Very first one.
I gotta look up that podcast. That's cool.
And I'll always be thankful to him for that because there were no episodes to reference, and I'm just this guy who's like, I'd like to start a podcast, and he actually brought Tony Casillas with him.
Okay.
And I think he framed it as like, I've got this friend who's really funny if you want him to come on. But I know what it was is like, I don't know if I'm going to some weirdo's house or something and I need backup with me.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I always thought he was just really, really funny. I think he kind of dipped in and out of comedy. I think he's got some, I think he dips into some depression or something every now and then and stops for a little while.
Sucks.
Yeah. And because I remember talking to him one time about like, well, what's the deal? What's the break? And he said something like he's taking a sad break or something. It's like, okay. But super funny. He was one of the people. Part of the reason I had him on as that first guest is I didn't know quite like, who I wanted to invite on, and it didn't matter at the time. But in the moment, I felt like there was a lot of pressure. Like, who's your first guest going to be? You want somebody good, but you don't. I didn't want somebody who was like super popular, and I didn't even know if I had access to that anyway. But I just remember watching him at a bunch of different open mics randomly, and we won't drop any names, but like some of the clubs have very depressing open mics. And I saw him at one of those. Yeah. But it's like the crowd was just dead and it was just comics and a couple weirdos like me just watching it. And it was just bad. And then he comes out and somehow just turned the whole thing around.
Heck yeah.
In the 4 or 5 minutes he got. And it wasn't like funny for an open mic that was doing poorly. It's like, oh my God, we're like on a comedy show again finally. This is great. Yeah. And I just remember thinking, such a funny dude. So I don't know. I hope if he's taking a break, I hope he gets back into it. If he's doing it right now, then I hope he gets good at it.
Yeah, I want to hear him now. That's cool.
I liked him, man.
Yeah.
He had his own version, which I think is the most important thing. Like, he seemed very honest to himself. His stuff was real funny. But I mean, you're similar. Like,
I hope not, but yeah.
no. What I mean is you're similar in the sense that like your stand-up set. I honestly, of that soft opening, I really genuinely think you had the set of the night.
Oh, thanks, man.
They were all
appreciate
great,
it.
but
Yeah.
I just think yours had a nice little. I think that was the first time I'd gotten to see you at more than an open mic.
Oh, very cool.
So
yeah.
what I realized with you, man, is you really need like 3 to 4 minutes for the crowd to kind of process you, I think.
Okay.
Do you feel that ever when you're up there?
Yeah, a little bit.
And I don't
yeah.
mean that in a negative way, but I think they have trouble sizing you up.
I get that. Like,
Not that they should be able to size you up.
yeah, I feel like there's 2 or 3 things that I'll like try at the beginning, and if they don't work, I think you're right. Yeah, like, and if they do work, I might have them earlier. But
They were feeling you though.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
feeling you. And like my wife, she came with me to that show, and a lot of times I like to watch her watch a comic and see like who really gets her, because she's a harder sell than me sometimes.
Gotcha.
And she was dying, man.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah,
cool.
It was a great set. It was
Nice.
A great set. And but how long have you been doing it now?
Let's see. I don't really know. I started when I was 19.
So you've been doing this 6 years?
Yeah, I guess that's math. Yeah.
19, huh? 19. What made you start it at 19?
I don't know. My brother moved to college, and he's like my best friend. We like do everything together. And then he was gone, and I was kind of bored. And I've always wanted to do it. Like when I was in high school, I would like listen to it. That's when I really listened to it a lot. And then I think my first time I went to Hyenas. Didn't go up, but I just went. And then I found out about the Facebook group. And then I went to Mad Hatter. Was my first mic ever.
Did they let you in at Hyenas? Like, did they know you were 19?
They gave me the X's or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
so they do 18 and up then for the open mics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Mad Hatter was the first open mic.
Yeah.
That's another place, man. If you guys are anywhere near Fort Worth listening to this, is it still Mondays?
Still Mondays.
Still Mondays?
Yep.
That's a magic little room.
Yeah, I really like it.
It should be a very, and I say this with love to Mad Hatter, it should be a shitty place for comedy.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's kind of rowdy and noisy at times. The stage is just that little corner where normally they have a table up there, I guess, right?
Right.
And then there's just like a couple lights right over your head that is horrible lighting for like a show of any kind.
Yeah.
But something about that room, man, it just works.
Yeah.
That is, like I said, I live over here, but I've probably gone to that open mic more than the open mics around here.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
I don't know, man. It's fun, and then I feel like I neglect getting out to see like the Fort Worth crowd and the surrounding cities of Fort Worth. And there's all these killers over there that I don't get to see in Dallas. Just because of the distance.
Dude, I moved to Bedford from Weatherford. Is the best thing I ever did. I love it so much.
Well, how much further is Weatherford? I don't really know that area
Weatherford's
too
like
well.
west of Fort Worth, like way west.
Oh,
so if I got a show in
okay.
Dallas, it's like 2 hours. So
Yeah, that's
it's
brutal.
like I love living. I mean, I'm 20 minutes from Dallas, and I'm 20 minutes from Fort Worth now.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing.
Okay. I guess I think of Bedford as not centralized like that, but yeah, it's right there in the middle. Yeah, so what a great move then.
Yeah,
So
it's
now you
awesome.
get to kind of play both, huh? Mm-hmm. That's the hard part. It's like Fort Worth is right there, but it feels, I think if you're just going down I-30 from Dallas, depending on the traffic, it just feels like a nightmare
It's
sometimes.
a nightmare, yeah.
But I think I'm going out there this Monday for, I can't remember. So I like to run too. I like to run marathons.
Heck yeah, man.
And I sponsored some people. I'm trying to start sponsoring more people who want to do half marathons and marathons. Let them wear a jersey. I'll pay their entrance fee. Just kind of
very
promote
cool.
I'm a fan of. And, I think running is fun. So anybody who wants to do it. And I'm going to go drop off a jersey for a runner that wants to do it. Kaylee Broussard.
Oh yeah.
You know her. What's her Monday mic that she does?
Oh, I mean, I know her name, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
she
know
hosts something. My guess is it's with Claws Out Comedy.
Oh
Probably.
yeah. She's
Is it like 1812 or something?
1851.
1851.
Yeah. Sorry, I totally know that.
I just
Yeah.
remember they're always. Is that the one where it's kind of like a variety show and they?
I think it's just stand-up.
Is that stand-up
It's just
comedy?
a straight
Okay.
open mic.
I can't keep up. I know Mon out there always does these shows where it's like, big like LGBTQ supported whatever. I didn't
Right.
know if it was that show or not, but yeah. So I'm gonna go out there to give her the jersey she's going to wear. She's going to do the half marathon for Cowtown for the Fort Worth Marathon.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. And I don't really know much about her, so I'm hoping to see a little bit of her hosting and then just see who's performing out there.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to Mana's Twilight Lounge mic when that was happening.
Yeah, I
Rest
loved
in
Twilight.
peace.
That was fun.
Yeah, man. And like,
I loved the hang there. I like the hang at Hatter, and I like the hang there.
yeah, I honestly, part of the reason I don't go to the Mad Hatter more is because it's really hard to go there and have like one drink and drive back to Dallas.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it's a
can see
good
that,
time.
yeah.
It's a good time. What do you think is the? Do you feel there are any barriers of like Fort Worth and Dallas crossing over like that? Other than distance, I mean.
Nah, I think it's just all distance, honestly, because I see a lot of Fort Worth comics do Dallas shows all the time. I guess open mics, no. Like, you don't drive from Fort Worth to Dallas for an open. I mean, I used to, but like, you don't have to. So yeah.
Is that your favorite open mic still? You think, Mad Hatter?
I don't know.
What other open mics are you hitting up that you think are good? Let's not do favorites. We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I like Big Laughs open mic. It's a really good open mic. And then I like this was like my favorite. They had it's not happening anymore, and it's continuing not to happen. The Graffiti Pasta in Denton.
Yes.
That was the best. I mean, it was better than club show. It was the best open mic.
Who was putting that on? Was that Joey Johnson, maybe?
Lauren, I forgot her last name. Lauren something. And then Caleb
Did
Davis.
she move or something? Why
No,
is it not
I think
going?
the venue just was like wanted money for stuff. I could be wrong though. Don't quote me. I'm not.
I hope that's not it, because that's
Yeah.
such a non-Denton type thing to hear.
Yeah.
That the venue shut it down for money. It's like, wait. That doesn't sound like
Yeah,
Denton.
no, I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But Denton's another weird town, though, where it's got all the makings to be a great comedy town.
Yeah, if you were gonna open something, that's the first place I'd look.
I mean, the only reason I wouldn't do it up there is because I live in Dallas.
Gotcha.
And that to do it well, I think you would have to move up there and be a
Right.
part of it. And then just as much as I think you could successfully do it as an outsider, I think whoever does it needs to be like a Denton person.
Okay.
You know, I think somebody who loves that town, who has lived there or done comedy there or whatever for a long time. Like, I thought genuinely, did you remember the Brave Boys podcast?
Nope.
Okay. They were these comics that did a live podcast up at Andy's in Denton, and it was called the Brave Boys. I think there was 3 of them. I think they might have dipped in and out, some of them. But the comics would do a show, and then they do like an interview style thing afterwards. And I thought they had a decent little following, and then it fell apart for whatever reason. I don't know. But it seemed like they were like Denton people, where it's like, man, you should be the one running the club. You should open a club. Somebody who's kind of in there already.
Yeah, I could. That's fair. Yeah, that's totally valid.
Because I think I would come in and I would want to do what I would want to do, but I live here in Dallas, so it would have like a Dallas feel to it, probably.
Gotcha, yeah.
You know, and I feel like Denton needs to be a Denton feel. Like, keep that area so unique up there.
It is. It's weird.
It's like
Yeah.
get somebody who, you know, like, yeah, we're the first comedy club with like free range chickens in the back or something.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
yeah.
It seems like it needs its
Yeah,
own little.
That seems very Denton. Yeah. That'd be
Well, like,
cool.
did you ever do anything at Rubber Gloves, or not Rubber Gloves? J&J's Pizza.
No.
Have you heard of that place?
Mm-mm.
They have this basement, and like when I used to play music, we would do concerts in that basement.
That's awesome.
So it's just this dumpy little basement underneath a pizza place, and it was awesome. And I've heard they've done some comedy shows there. And it's like, that could be like a killer.
Yeah.
Like, you go in the front door of a pizza place, walk downstairs to the comedy club.
I would love that.
Right?
I'm a huge basement fan of
Yeah.
stand-up.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
that's what's up, man.
I think that segment of stand-up is the best stand-up ever gets.
Yeah.
Like,
Heck
it should be a small, weird room.
Yes, I think so too. It's very true.
It's
So
got to be
cool.
weird. Like, and I think if I were to take someone to their very first comedy show, I would want it to be at a weird venue like that, not, you know, Hyenas or Improv. I would want it to be something when they go back to work on Monday, they're like, this place was strange.
Yeah,
but
you
it
know.
was funny.
Exactly.
It was really
yeah.
funny, yeah.
I'm the same way.
What do you think is the strangest room we have?
I don't know. That's a good
It's
question.
tough, right?
I really like. I mean, those Graffiti Pasta shows, they did have showcases too. It wasn't
It's not
just an open
happening
mic.
anymore, you
Yeah,
know?
that wasn't even weird. That was good. That was just solid good.
Well, like, the only club around here that I think gets close to it, but it's not like a weird, dingy vibe, is Backdoor. But that's just because it's small.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quite like that. It still has its own magic.
Yeah, I really like. There's a clean club there. I really like how it's clean. Yeah,
What do you mean?
like you can't cuss. And
Oh, you mean the
do crazy
comedy's
stuff.
clean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of towns are missing that. I really like that that's there.
It definitely seems like I'm a non-comic, but just from watching, it seems like people who learn how to flex that muscle before they do dirty stuff or in
Yeah.
comedy, that they're better.
It's hard
better.
to do, man. It's nuts.
Plus, I've just seen Linda kill so many times.
Never seen her.
Never seen her, huh?
I've like met her, talked to her.
Never watched her set.
Never watched her set.
I think I've seen her set for like a decade.
Oh wow, very
And
cool.
well, you know what's happened recently that I've taken a lot of joy in with Linda's set is I've caught her at a couple shows. She was on like Liz Mooney's showcase, and then recently I went to the Kessler Theater here in Dallas to watch a comedy show, and she was on that one too. And I'm starting to see people who have never ever experienced Linda before, because like if you go to Backdoor, she performs there a lot. It's like some people might have already seen her perform and might be kind of used to her, but she's got. I don't even know how to say it because I don't want to say it in like an insulting way, but she's just got a strange vibe about her.
Oh, okay.
She's an interesting woman, and she has a strange life.
Okay, very cool.
And when she gets up on stage, I think people have trouble trying to decide like if there's an element of danger. Like, is she getting too close to us? Should we be worried?
Oh, whoa, okay.
Because she gets up and she's got kind of a crazy look.
Yeah.
She's got kind of a crazy stance, and her comedy is talking about how weird and crazy she is in a lot of elements. Yeah. And I'm here, and so like now I've got this joy of watching people see her for the first time, and you're like, oh my God, I remember seeing her for the first time. And it's like, yeah, it blows your mind.
Wow, that's nuts. I gotta watch her now. Jeez, I gotta see Daniel Magnet and her now. That's crazy.
If you watch her, man, I think you need to find a. I mean, she was at the Kessler, which is a big room. It's like a big. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Okay, so it holds what, probably like 500 or 600 people. It's a big room.
It's huge, yeah.
And it was still phenomenal. But we were sitting like 4 rows back, so we're right there. I think the beauty of Linda's stand-up is you need to be in a small place right near her where you just think like, what's happening?
Gotcha.
Where you see every facial expression, every little tick and turn. I think that's the best way to watch her. Because, I don't know how much she performs at Backdoor right now, though. I know she, runs stuff there, but I don't know if she gets up there all the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, she'll, at least I go to the open mics over there, and she'll just drop into one of the spots or whatever and do like 10.
So I can't even remember from your set. Are you doing clean comedy, or I don't remember if I heard you say anything.
It's pretty clean. There's just a few that are.
But you're not actively trying to do it one way or another. Yeah. I mean, do you think it's harder to stay squeaky clean?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think any because if you're doing dirty, you can be clean, and if you're being clean, you can't be dirty. It's like. I think it's. You
know what I think is hard when people try to be squeaky clean, which I think it's good if, like, for instance, Nate Bargatze, obviously that's the top example right now. He's phenomenal, but I think a lot of people trying to be clean, it's real hard to not get like kind of hokey and like you know what I mean? It's tough. Yeah. It's like, do you know Jim Gaffigan, right?
Yeah.
It's like the first time I ever heard Jim Gaffigan swear. I was like,
yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's for sure.
Yeah. Well. How much time do you think you do right now?
I did 25 last night. So
where was that at?
It was at Shannon's Brewing. It was a mic, but they put me at the end. And great crowd. It was. He just said, "Go as long as you want," and he finally had to light me. It was great. It was a good feeling.
And while you were going that long, you didn't think like you were stretching it. You felt like it was good.
Yeah, I feel like I could have kept going, and then he had to light me. It was nice, which I did not think I had that much.
Was that the longest you've done?
I don't know what the longest. Technically, this doesn't count. This was all horrible. But
okay.
I did 56 minutes one time, but it was garbage, like just terrible.
How long ago was that?
It was a while ago. It was. Oh gosh, I can't even remember. There's a picture of me with the host took a picture of the clock or whatever, and then
56 minutes, and you definitely weren't ready for 56 minutes.
God, it was awful, terrible.
What did you do to stretch it out? Do you remember?
I just went through my notes, and I have a thing called potential topics, and just read out those, talked about them, did all that stuff. And
that sounds brutal.
It was brutal.
What made you go for 56? Did they just ask you to do it?
They just said I was last, and they said go as long as you want. And I was like, okay. And
you didn't think cut it off? You just wanted to see?
I cut off at 56. I was like, I can't talk anymore. I've got nothing else to say.
Yeah, but what I mean is, why get to 56? Why not cut off at 40?
Oh,
why not cut off at 35?
I didn't know. I didn't know how long I was going at all. Like, no idea how long the set was until the end. Yeah.
Did it feel like you were bombing while it was going?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, terrible.
So you had your notes and everything, but you had no sense of time? Like you didn't look at your phone or your watch?
Nothing at all. It's
oh, my gosh. So, I mean, what do you consider yourself then? Because I guess I don't really have a grasp on kind of where you're at in your comedy journey. Like, I know you said you're hitting open mics and you're doing kind of 25 minutes of these bar shows. So do you feel like you're doing kind of like feature style work yet? Or where do you think you're at?
I think that I have no idea. I have bad beat on that stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of my friends have really good beats on like where they're at, and like I don't even have a good beat on how much time I have at all. Like zero. Like my friend knows exactly how much. He's like, I can do 15 here. I need to know. I really need to focus if I'm doing 20. I got it if I got 15. 10 is easy, and I'm like, I have no idea. If you were like, do 10, I would be like, I've done it before, so I probably can. But then I mess up. You know what I mean?
You gotta start putting a timer out there until you can figure that out. Well, I mean, let me ask you this then. What currently is your favorite? Like, what do you like to do if you're getting booked on a show? Do you like to go up at like a bar show, a club? What do you kind of what do you get excited about doing, and how much time do you kind of get excited about?
Probably those weird rooms, and I like to do as much time as possible. If as much as they're allowed to give me, as much as they can do. But just because who don't want to be up there for that long? You know?
So you really like just being up there then?
Yeah, for sure. If it's like
it doesn't stress you out like it does some other people, I guess.
Yeah, I get nervous before, but like a good nervous, like not a bad nervous. But like I really don't like I get nervous when my family comes and stuff like that. That's what really gets me nervous, which is weird. Like I never thought I'd be that guy, but I am that guy for sure.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously you put out kind of like a chill vibe, but yeah, it's hard to imagine you getting real nervous. But I'm trying to think back to watching you at Rose City. Were you nervous at that one?
No, I wasn't. I was
going to say you seem super relaxed up there.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Well, what do you think it is about that venue versus a different one? Like, why were you so calm there?
I never really get nervous. It's not the venue that makes me nervous. It's usually whoever's there or something like that, which is super insecure. It's like a big insecure thing, which I never thought I'd have, but I do. Yeah.
Huh. Did you do anything before this that would have been similar? Like, did you play music, sports, anything like that?
I ran cross country. I mean, that was it.
So, like, if you had family at a cross-country meet, would you get nervous there?
No, it's different.
Didn't matter?
Yeah.
You just worried how they're going to react to what you say?
No, not at all. I don't know. I just, I want it to be good for them, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing, which is weird. Like,
yeah, because you already want it to be good for everyone else, too.
Yeah. I don't understand. Maybe it's because I never have to see anybody else again. You know what I mean? Like, that could be it.
Well, have you gotten any real feedback from family yet?
My mom and aunt saw me at a good show. My mom, aunt, dad, and brother also saw me at a bad show. So they've seen both sides of it. You know? I'm less nervous with them now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they talk to you about the bad show?
No, they didn't. they didn't want to, I'm sure. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, if they gave you bad opinions, would it like crush you and deter you, or would you just kind of laugh it off?
No, I wouldn't. It wouldn't really bug me.
Yeah, so I mean,
it just sucks that I do want them to really like it. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. But yeah, I would get over it. It's not like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And I'm not shaking in my boots when they're there. But
no.
I do get a little feeling or whatever.
It's interesting. I mean, talking to different people about nerves, like level of nerves on stages, because some people get up there and they're just ice cold, doesn't faze them. And then you hear about famous people, it's like every show still nervous.
Yeah.
They can sell out 10,000 seats all for them, and they're just still nervous.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting what people get okay with. When I used to play music, I don't think I ever really... I was comfortable on stage, but I just never... it's like you got to get that first song out before you really feel like, okay, all right, we're good. We're good. They like us. It's okay, But it's just interesting. You would think, I got it dialed in. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. What'd you play, man?
I play guitar.
Very cool.
Yeah. That's why Denton is kind of fun. Like, one of the bands I played in, the lead singer was the leader of the band, and he was a Dentonite, and we did a lot of shows up there. And it was always just like a nice town, man. Like, they were always people who really appreciated your artistic endeavor.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's not the same with comedy. Like, you can be in a band and you can show up at a venue or like a bar and nobody knows you, but they know there's music tonight.
Right.
And like in Dallas, whenever I used to play here, it's like, these were all like original songs. We didn't do cover bands or anything, but
very cool.
It's like people would kind of be at the back of the room or at the bar, and you had to be like really good before people would kind of work their way up. So you might go through like 3 songs with nobody really giving you much energy, and it was just tough. And it's hard to not seem like a try-hard up there. Like, you want to look like you're having a good time and rocking out, but it's weird in those shows. It can feel like you're desperately trying to show how fun you are so people will come have a good time. Whereas in cities like Denton, it's like you'd get on stage and there might be, 2-3 rows of people just wanting to check out a new band. Like, let's see what these guys are like.
Heck yeah.
And give you a couple songs,
Very cool.
So the difference would be like they would show up, and then it was just about, well, all we got to do is keep them here.
Heck yeah.
We don't have to bring them. and that was kind of their polite. It's like if you were a band and it wasn't really working, then it's like they all went and kind of got some drinks, maybe went outside, got a smoke, and that was kind of how you knew, like, all right, work on it.
Yeah.
But it was fun, man. It's just something about those college towns, but it's got its own little ecosystem up there. I don't even really like Denton that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just want Denton to do well.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, dude, yeah.
Like, I have no desire to live
Yeah,
there.
there's a lot of like college kids and then like end of your rope people. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah. I mean, they're doing what Austin did decades ago.
Yeah.
Where it's a cool town, flies under the radar, but I think it's going to keep just getting cooler and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Hipper. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now they've got all the like people come in, corporate people come in and put in, Chipotle or whatever.
Yeah.
And they hate it, and it's like, but I think that clash of corporate stuff with like unique, weird people, I think those are good cities to live in.
Yeah, I think so too.
You blend it
I
all.
really love downtowns in general, like anywhere.
Yeah.
Like Garland or Grapevine or wherever.
Garland should have its come up.
Yeah, I think so too.
Garland should, man.
They used to have a mic there I loved, and
Was that the?
don't remember the name. I don't remember anything about it.
Was it a long time ago?
Yeah, it was like when I first started. It was like a year in.
Oh, okay. Because I thought Niaz and Vinny Corrales were working on some kind of show over there.
I hope they do something.
I can't remember. I know they did something, but I can't remember if it's still a recurring show with their Cowabunga comedy
I
stuff.
love their shows
Yeah.
so much.
Have you got to do their Plano shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
So fun.
Okay, that's what I'm. Excuse me. That's what I'm talking about with Denton. Niaz and Vinny seem to like Plano.
Yeah. Now that you mention that makes perfect sense.
They seem to like that area.
Yeah.
And those are the people who should be running the area's stuff.
Yeah.
If I
agree.
started going to Plano to do Cowabunga comedy, no matter how good I'd try to make the show, it just wouldn't have their little special sauce on it.
Right.
Whatever it is, they just like that area. Like, you can tell when the show's not going on, they hang out around there.
Yeah, exactly.
And they like the town. And it's like, if I had a venue in Denton, I would not be up there except for when the venue is going. And that's probably not good for business. you
Right.
know?
And if you know 120 people, you can fill out 60
Yeah.
every other night. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, yeah.
I think they're having like, maybe they did it already. I think they're having one of their first like touring acts, like a big name
wow.
coming through and
Dude,
headlining
they
Cowabunga.
They had somebody that was on Stephen Colbert that just stopped by to do a set, and he crushed. I mean, oh my God. Like, nobody, like, everybody did good, but like, he just was next level. It was
Maybe
insane.
that's the weird room then. Maybe that's the weird room we're not thinking about, because
No.
it is just a little bar. It shouldn't work well. I mean, the bar's great.
Yeah.
I've drank there when they don't do comedy shows. I like it. And it's the Fillmore Pub in Plano. And but it is still a bar. And like, as you know, it's like not all bar shows are created equal.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they're just doing a killer job with theirs. That might be our fun, weird room right now.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, it could
Yeah.
totally be. I love their mic across the street too. Really fun.
I haven't been to that yet.
It's called Vickery Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a good mic?
Yeah, it's fun, definitely.
Do you see, when you're going to a mic like that, are you seeing a lot of newcomers that you've never met before?
I'm so bad with names and faces. In
Yeah, you
general.
probably don't pay attention
Like,
much.
I'm really bad about it. Yeah. So like, I'm sure I'll think somebody is new and they're not at all. Like that happens to me all the time.
No, I take a lot of interest in those mics outside of the big city, Dallas or Fort Worth. Because I feel like there's all these funny people in DFW who don't know that comedy's an option. And then when they find those newer mics, it's like, how many killers are we sleeping on?
Yeah.
How many funny people are there in, what's a good little suburb? There's got to be some funny people like in Frisco
Yeah.
that just don't want to come to Dallas and do a
Yeah,
mic.
I bet that's true.
Gotta be
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people. There's got to be some comedy killer out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Maybe you need to open a club up in Bedford.
That would be fun.
Start running a thing. Have you ever
Yeah.
run a mic of your own before?
Yeah, I used to run one at the library bar in this place called Ben's Triple B's. It's not around anymore.
Yeah.
But they were really fun. Best experience. It was fun.
Why'd you stop doing them?
COVID happened,
Oh, yeah.
and then I stopped doing it completely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I thought it, like I said, we would really love to open up a club. And I keep thinking I need to run a mic
yeah, I think that'd be fun. Yeah,
to learn what I don't know about running a show.
yeah, it's just fun
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah. What was your favorite part about running a mic?
Pretty much just the after hang. I hated hated doing the stand up. Hated it.
So wait. You didn't actually like the show part.
No, I did not. Only because, like, don't get me wrong, I loved giving people opportunity to like try new stuff and do whatever.
Yeah.
But like, a lot of times it's not going to be great. Like, you know what I mean?
How many people would you put on a show?
Like, as much as people that would come.
So like 20, 30, 40 or 10, 15,
some
20?
Nights 4, some nights 20, some nights 30. It just depends. But yeah, I really like to, unless it was somebody I hadn't seen. If there was somebody like that, I'd watch them and I'd be like, oh, this is going to be good or whatever. But
were you doing the stuff where you like emceeing in between, bringing everybody up?
I don't do that. I hate it when people do this.
So what, they would just bring each other up?
No, I mean, I would MC and bring it between. I don't like it when people do like a little joke or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because if I ran a mic, I would never do that.
Yeah,
that's not me. I'm not a comic.
My rule is, and this is my rule, it doesn't have to be anybody else's, but like, if you comment on something they said, that's fine. But if you're doing your like own material, like in between, I'm like, let's get on with it, like kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good way. Yeah. I would hate for people to think I started a mic because I wanted to enter into comedy. Yeah. And it's like, no. I just want to learn about running shows.
Yeah, you know, that'd be great. Yeah. That's a great way to do it too. Yeah. It's fun.
Because I thought, I could start an open mic and just learn all my mistakes, that way. And then try to maybe do a recurring show at one of these venues, learn some more mistakes, learn the difficulty of selling tickets to strangers and all that.
Yeah, that's the best way.
All that fun stuff,
I think the number one thing that helps with that stuff, which is I'm terrible at, I don't think I could do it, is like joining different things that you like outside of comedy, a community like that. And then,
what do you mean?
Like if you like pool or something, like I love pool. I'm a part of a lot of DFW pool groups. And if you join something like that and you become part of their community, you can bring a lot of people to shows. You get to know people.
You're kind of crossing.
Yeah, it's people that like to go out and do stuff if you do that. So yeah, being a part of those communities, I think really you can bring in people there.
It's weird. As much as I, like I run this podcast, I like going to shows, and it's like, those are all kind of extrovert qualities.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my hobbies, I really like doing them alone.
Same thing. That's what drove me to stand-up. I love pool, bowling, and stand-up, and there's no team involved. I love that. You know what I mean?
Well, like when you were talking about running.
Great point, yeah.
I felt so bad. Have you met Kevin DeAnda, stand-up comic?
I probably have. I just don't remember meeting him.
He was my sponsored runner for the Dallas Marathon that just happened. And, he's just nothing but nice. And he kept hitting me up. He's like, hey, man, I thought, like this Saturday, this Sunday, you want to meet up and do our long run together or something? And I was like, no,
exactly.
No, I just really don't want to. And it has nothing to do with him. It's like, the thought of joining like a group of people running, it doesn't do it for me. Like I know some people love that motivation and that like kinship and we're suffering together, but it's like, I like to suffer alone.
Exactly. I'm the same way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's something that's going to be really hard for me if I decide to do something like a club down the line.
Yeah.
It's because you really got to be involved in that community to do it well.
Yeah, I think so too.
And you got to really care about them. I think the podcast has been a good stepping stone of just learning. Well, comics, you've all got unique personalities. And
this is really fun. Yeah, I really like being on this. It's cool.
You think you'll run another mic at some point?
No. Yeah, not at all. Maybe if the right one came. I don't know.
What do you think was the worst part about it? Other than just having to do it, like what would you'd go, something would happen consistently and you'd go, I'm never doing this again.
The weirdest thing with me was I didn't have a PA system. I didn't have a mic. I didn't have anything like that. So the old one, the old mic that I did at Ben's Triple B's had all that supplied for me. And then I stopped doing the mic there, but I would drive to there, steal the PA system, drive to the next mic, and then set it up, and then drive back to the first mic and drop it off without anybody knowing because I knew the passwords to like all the where everything was and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it worked out great.
You're getting it done, man.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you told me you were stealing a PA because I thought you were about to tell me you did a whole open mic with no PA.
No, that would be terrible.
They were just shouting, like holding a beer bottle.
No, absolutely not. When the mic breaks and they have to do that, I hate that. Oh,
it's bad, man. It's bad. I thought about, I told you about this album. We recorded in like this cabin and we did it with no PA system. So we set up mics around the room and the idea was, again, like if you were sitting in the living room, let's hear how this would sound to have this intimate performance. And I reached out to a couple of comics and I was like, do you think we could ever do, like a stand-up thing like that where you're kind of, and they were like, all of them like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Need a PA, need a microphone. Don't care if it's a 10-person room. Give me a microphone.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's weird. And I think after watching y'all, other than just the audio, I think y'all need something to hold.
Yeah.
I think you need like a barrier.
Yeah, I need something. Yeah. I think that's true. Yeah. But like it would suck for me and like Cody. Like me and Cody could not like the let's make some noise people.
Was he running it with you?
No, he wasn't. I was
okay.
just thinking of quieter comics.
Yeah.
You know, like you couldn't do that without a mic.
Yeah, he's making him yell would be funny to watch.
For sure.
He's one of those people. I need to see what he's like when he's having a total meltdown.
Yeah, no,
And,
I've never seen it. I think that'd be
I need
cool
to see what like ridiculously angry Cody Swindell looks like.
He's definitely that guy that will like I always tell people this. He's that guy that's like if something's wrong, he'll fix it. He'll like go after it. Like he doesn't care. But then like later he'll be like, was that weird? Like should I have done that? Should I have done that? Which is a good quality. That's great.
He's a nice guy. Yeah. No, I just want to see like, what's it like when somebody cuts him off in traffic, brake checks him, and then causes him to like swerve into a ditch and hit a tree or something? Yeah. What is angry Cody Swindell like?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it's an interesting. The comedy dynamic in general, just on different stages and stuff, really fascinates me.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
About small stages, big stages. If I hear one more person say low ceilings,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
it makes a huge difference, though. It really.
I
does.
know it does,
yeah.
but it's like that can't be the defining feature of a comedy club.
No, for sure. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah.
I keep wanting to make this video like just like a TikTok or something where, like people are. Like they're like setting up a show, or maybe they're like going to build a venue and they're trying to make it perfect, and they're just like, we got to lower the ceiling, bring it down. It's like they bring it down, it's like right on top of their heads. It's like, it's just not low enough. Like a little more. And then they're like hunching in, like crawling on their hands and knees, and they're like, just not quite there.
Heck yeah.
Until finally you're just like sliding in on your back, like on one of those rollers that you go under a car with.
It's perfect.
And they're like, this is exactly what we need. Just the lowest ceiling ever. Yeah. You said your other hobby's bowling?
Yeah, I love bowling. I watch pro bowling. Like, I'm a huge bowling fan.
That's, you have to be a fan of Kingpin then, right?
Yeah, I love Kingpin.
One of the greatest bowling scenes ever.
Dude, it's great. Love it.
When did you get into bowling, though?
When I was in college. Really liked it.
Did you take the bowling classes? That some
I would
colleges
just go
offer?
out all the time. I had my own ball. Before when I had my car wreck, my bowling ball just went soaring through my windshield. Like,
you had the bowling ball in like your back seat?
In my back seat, and just out the Prius windshield or whatever.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
dude, that could have been.
I like to think
bad.
it like found some bowling pins or something.
How many pounds do you bowl with?
I don't know. It's been forever since I've actually done it.
You don't remember how much your old ball weighed?
I think it was like it's something weirdly specific. Like it was like 14 point something.
But this was yours. You bought this, right?
Yeah, it didn't have a thumb hole. It had just the two fingers.
That's a thing?
Yeah, because you can do two-handed now. It's like a big thing.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, so there's a big thing between like two-handed bowlers and one-handed bowlers. Mm-hmm. And this guy named Jason Bellamonte, who's from Australia, and he kind of invented the two-handed bowling. No one had ever done that before, and so it's a huge thing now. Like one-handers versus two-handers.
What is he saying the advantage is? You just control
the
spin?
You get way more control on the spin, like on the spin to the left. I don't think you get as much speed when you're doing like one-handed.
because you can't swing it.
Yeah, you can't do that big swing, but
so when they run up, are they running up or are they granny style between the legs?
They're running up and doing it from their like right or left side, like this.
So is it like dropping to the floor?
No, it's still got that slide, or it's supposed to have that slide when it.
So when they're going with two hands, it's still down like by their knee.
Yeah, when they get down low, not when they start up here, but when they get down low, then it'll start doing that. But like
that seems like more and more people would fall flat on their face throwing the ball like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens all the time.
Like you trip yourself really easy.
I'm sure it happens all the time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that's like how new is that technique?
It's not too new. Okay. Maybe like 15 years old. Maybe.
Any big professionals doing it? Like
consistently
Kyle
and winning? is really big right now. Uh-huh. He's got this huge. He's probably the face of bowling right now. He's got like this huge afro. That's like it's a big thing.
I like him already.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, and he brings his dad to every like meet or whatever. Who was also a professional bowler, and it's like such a bond. I don't know. I get emotional even talking about it.
Who's the guy with the famous clip? He's got the slicked back hair. He does something that's incredible.
Norm Duke is.
You're
probably...
not him. I'm him. Is that?
Oh yeah.
What's that dude?
Oh gosh, I know his name.
You know who I'm talking about. I enjoy bowling.
Yeah.
I respect bowling, but I don't watch bowling and get super into it. But seeing that clip, I was like, I'm hyped.
Yeah, dude.
And I want to watch some bowling now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah. I wish I remembered. Yeah, but he hit something incredible. And he's like, yeah. Who's the guy? You're not the guy. I'm the guy, or something like that. I was like, hell yeah. Just seeing some guy who looks like he's holding down a 40-hour-a-week job, crushing it on the bowling lane.
Heck yeah, dude. There was a guy who was like in the biggest championship recently who was like an accountant. Like,
how much money do those guys win?
It It's such a weird thing because you can be super famous and you win second place, get like nothing. So it's like really weird.
Do they crush it with sponsors or?
They get, it's not like huge amounts. It's like winner, it's like 100,000, and then like stuff like I think the highest I've seen is like 200 something.
Yeah, so if you're traveling and stuff, that's not covering.
Yeah, you got to win.
You would make more in a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. I mean, is bowling an American sport? Like, did we make that?
I have no idea.
I don't know where bowling comes from, but it feels like a blue collar American pastime, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's very.
Jesus, we used to go to this place off of Forest Lane in Dallas. I can't remember the name. It was like Galaxy Bowl or something, maybe. It's probably closed now. But my wife and I, when we were dating a long time ago, we would go and it was like the lanes were like a little warped.
Right.
And like it was just this shitty bowling alley, but it was so much fun. And literally, like, it was so sketchy at times that like a pin or a ball got stuck. And we're like, hey, guys. And the front desk person was like, hey, no problem, and they like whistled at this guy. They're like, hey, Rick. They're like, lane 3, and he's like looking bothered, and the dude holds up a cigarette. And Rick came and like grabbed the cigarette and then went and fixed the lane issue. It's like
crazy.
they're working for cigarettes. And I was like, I really like this place.
Hell
like,
yeah.
But I don't know, man. Bowling, it's like, what do you think when you see these new bowling alleys that are like mega centers that are pristine and they got like black lights on the lanes?
That's cool for me. I'm sure there's like some bowling fanatic that's like, this isn't real or whatever. But
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me. Yeah. And I'm not like a huge bowling guy, especially not anymore. But
No?
I used to watch the pros or whatever when I was like in college.
Bowling is one of those sports, like, I think every man, dreams they're like really good at it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
That's totally what it was.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Like you think like, if I ever go bowling with friends,
Yeah.
I'll like tear it up. But
Yeah.
I don't know why I would think that. I've never practiced it. I've never gone by myself and practice. But I do think like, I don't know. It's a lot cooler when they're like seedier bowling alleys.
Yeah, I think so.
But
too.
obviously, like all those went out of business, so we can't do that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one in Cowtown that I really like to go to.
Yeah? Do you know what it's called?
Nope.
No. Yeah. Well, I'll check it out. So how were you? Did you say you were doing the two-handed technique?
Yeah, I would do the two-handed.
Did you start
thing.
one-handed or did you start two-handed?
Start one-handed. I didn't even know about the two-handed thing until I saw those two.
Mm-hmm.
And,
How hard is it to get a ball made like that?
Not hard. It's
I guess it's one less hole to
like
drill, right?
$280. That's how much it costs.
Do you buy those like off the shelf or do you get yours made?
I get mine, or I got one of mine.
Yeah.
I've only had one.
Yeah.
I went to this place in like, I think it was Arlington or something. It's like a huge bowling, that it's like where the pros go, all that kind of stuff.
Is it expensive?
It wasn't horrible. It was like $280.
I mean, that's a commitment though.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta want it. You gotta want to do it.
Yeah.
How much?
I used my COVID check on it. Or whatever.
How much of a difference did you tell when you got that versus like just grabbing one off the rack at the lanes?
It was worse. It was hard.
What do you mean?
Like it's way more slick. It's way more whatever. I felt like if you knew what you were doing, you'd be better with that ball. But if you don't know what you're doing, you'd be better with a normal ball.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's like learning all over again.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
So how long till you got comfortable with it?
I don't think I ever got comfortable with it.
Really?
Yeah, I would try and just.
So this
couldn't
was
get
really
it.
like a hobby. You never really excelled at it.
No,
huh?
it was just a hobby.
Dang. Did you pick it up out of the ditch after it flew through your windshield?
I couldn't. I passed out completely. I don't remember that car wreck at all.
Oh, that's right. That's the one you broke your leg.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Wow. Oh, so you never recovered it?
Nope.
Dang. Who? Did you just wake up in the hospital?
Yep.
Wow. Seatbelt on? Did you hit your head on anything?
I think the seatbelt was on. Airbag went off. I got pictures of the car somewhere.
What?
And then
I don't think you told me earlier, but how did you wreck?
I don't remember.
You don't remember anything? You don't remember
remember.
swerving or like?
I remember going to a traffic light that was next to my house. That's the last thing I remember. And I don't even think the wreck was anywhere near that traffic light.
So after the fact, though, did you find out like was another car involved or what?
I hit another car, but
Oh.
I don't even know who was at fault.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you just woke up. Did they already do the surgery on your leg when you woke up?
No.
So
I
you
did wake up and I was like
And your leg's killing you.
my
and-
legs hurting, things like that. And a lot of that memory is in and out.
Mhm.
But I do remember waking up. They hadn't done the surgery yet. I remember them coming in telling me what they were going to do. And then next thing I knew, I woke up after the surgery.
How old were you? I can't remember.
I was like 22.
Huh. Wow. So it was a pretty bad wreck then.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Wow. I was in a really bad wreck, but I was 6 years old.
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
driving.
gotcha.
But I had a major head injury, and so we went to the hospital, surgery, and all this kind of stuff. And it's even at 6 though, it's weird. It's like how some of it is so vivid. Like if I really think about it, I'm there right now.
Right.
And then some of it, it's like even when I was a kid, it's like your body just blacked out pieces.
Right.
And it's real weird to think that you just lose time. That you have this safety mechanism in your mind that goes, you don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Just shut it off.
Yeah.
Do you think you just black out? Do you remember getting put under for surgery?
Kind of. Like, I remember them telling me you're going to be put under for surgery, and then
you don't remember them like pushing that medicine in?
Nah, not really.
I had a scope where they check out your stomach.
Yeah.
And they push the propofol, the stuff that killed Michael Jackson. That's one of the things they put you to sleep with.
Gotcha.
And it's a weird feeling. Like it burns a little bit, but that's not like it's not. You can tolerate it. Like it's just a little sting, and then it's just out to black.
Gotcha.
And then there's no time. It's like you're out to black, and then you're immediately in recovery.
Right.
And you're just like how can you just turn off?
Gotcha, yeah. That's nuts.
It makes me think about, you can't think about before you were born, obviously, right?
Right.
No, you don't recollect that anyway. And it's like, so when you die, that's how it's going to be, huh? Just black.
Yeah.
And
That gives me chills.
it's hard to think about, like, you won't even know you're not existing.
Yeah. I thought of that when that happened.
I can't tell if that's comforting or not.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not remembering is crazy, man. I think about that all the time. Like just chunk of your life gone.
What when you knew your leg was fixed, right? How long until you think you took like your first like run?
Oh, it was a while.
Yeah, like a year or less.
Maybe 6 months, 7 months, something like that.
Were you worried like I'm going to break it when I run?
Yeah, I was worried. Like I knew I would be able to walk, but I was worried about doing a lot of like I really can't do like I would like lifting weights and stuff like that. I can't do any of that stuff. I probably could, but why take the chance kind of thing. And then, so yeah, pretty much running is all I do other than upper body stuff sometimes. Very, very rarely.
Yeah. Is there ever a time where you're running and you just feel like, is that like a twinge? Like there's something happening?
All the time. Even when I'm just sitting and then like I rotate my leg weird or whatever.
When was the last time you had it looked at since your surgery?
I should have had it looked at like 3 times, and I
you
just
never
skipped
did.
It.
Jesus,
Yeah.
God. I'm a dad now, and so it's like when I hear this stuff, I'm like, go to the doctor. Whereas like before I was a dad, I'd be like, nah, dude, you're good, man. You're good to go. Just stretch a little.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. It's like I'm not gonna. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd really enjoy running as much as I do now. I played sports like in high school. I played soccer and basketball, and I did like a little bit of track in middle school, but I didn't have the maturity to like take anything seriously,
right.
you know? And now I'm thinking like, God, I wish I would have done track in high school. I think I really would have loved it, especially cross country because I like doing distance running.
Right.
And my son, he just turned 5, and I'm really hoping he's into something like that.
Yeah,
something we
cool.
can do together.
Heck yeah.
And like kind of what you're talking about, like it's a solo sport. It's like you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's nobody to blame. All you need, go get a pair of shoes, figure it out, you know? And but what age were you when you started cross country?
Like,
was it middle school, high school?
It was freshman year, so 15.
Yeah. What put you into that though? Did you just decide I'm going to try something, or?
Yeah, I just decided running was cool.
Did you go to a big school or a small school?
Kind of big.
Did
like 5A, so that's pretty big, right?
Oh, so you had to try out, right? No, they just let you on?
Just let me on. I guess nobody likes cross country over there or something.
I went to a small school, so if you wanted to play any sport, you played it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And, you didn't have to be good.
They had like, what do they call it when varsity? That's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I was that freshman year, so I was pretty good freshman year.
So you made varsity freshman year at a 5A school?
But then I got way worse. Then it was like, whatever. I got like bumped to JV.
How did you get worse?
I don't know. I just didn't do it in the summer. Didn't eat like shit, and just.
You know what I'm noticing about you?
Yeah.
You have spurts of ambition, but then you're just kind of like, yeah, but whatever happens.
Yeah, it's good. I like that. Yeah.
Like you've started a lot of really cool things,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you could excel at kind of whatever you would like to excel at, but. Like I don't know if you lose interest or you're just like
I get bored easy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing with me. But there's a couple of things I've really hung on to. I really like stand up, and I really like me and my brother own a drone business. That's what we do for a living.
Oh, okay.
And I I really love doing that stuff.
What are you doing? Are you building them?
So basically, I want to get into building them, but that's another point. But basically, we do a lot of survey work. We do a lot of work we can't call it survey work, but it's basically the work of a surveyor. And then a lot of work for the military and a lot of work for, it's basically drone services that's provided.
Oh,
photography, videography, surveying, a lot of construction inspections like cell towers and things like that. And it's really fun. I love flying drones.
Can you not call them surveys because like a person has to do a survey?
Yep,
is that
gotta
what
be
it
illegal.
is?
We literally can do the exact same thing in a heartbeat, and it's hard to be a surveyor. You gotta like go get an engineering degree, then you have to work under a surveyor.
But that's just a matter of time and like lobbying basically before that
Before
job
drones
changes.
take over.
The technology is going to be so good. Why
Yeah.
would you? Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you ever use drones? I mean, I know you're pretty good at videography and stuff.
You know, I haven't bought one ever. I haven't ever used one. I haven't ever flown one. But I just, like one of my hobbies when I was a kid was like motocross, like riding dirt bikes and stuff. And just the amount that videography has changed for those types of things. Like the follow shots and everything they can do now are just incredible. Stuff that you could never do on like, because used to you'd have to have somebody either like following you on a motorcycle or somebody just like, we're going to stand by this jump and film you as you go by. Or you were super famous and rich and you had like a helicopter follow you.
Right, yeah.
But a helicopter can only get so close. There's wash, there's all this stuff. And so, I don't know, the drone stuff's phenomenal. And especially now with like some of them, they have those auto follow features and you get to go.
Heck yeah.
The coolest drone thing though, like that I saw recently, I mean, there's amazing stuff out there, but did you see the drone shot when they opened up the mothership in Austin?
Yeah, I did. Somebody sent me that. Yeah. Very cool. Fly-throughs are really fun. Like,
yeah,
it's
but
the
there was
funnest type of flying for sure.
That was the first time I kind of thought about the cinematic ability of drones rather than the utilitarian aspect of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That like, okay, you're going to have people in the future of filming with drones that fly in certain styles cinematically to capture certain shots. Like, you're going to create a lot of things that couldn't be done when you have a camera on like a trolley or something.
For sure.
And cameras are getting... The really good cameras are able to get so small now on these. Like, these drones are able to get incredible footage that you couldn't have got 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be really hard to distinguish, a phenomenal drone shot versus like a high-end Hollywood shot.
Gotcha,
Here
yeah.
Very, very soon, right?
For sure.
And
that's what I love about... we talked about this earlier, like why I think it's the golden age of like music and stuff is because like it's so easy for like somebody who's not has a lot of money and doesn't have a lot of things to make. If they're good enough, they can make anything. Like, it's really cool. I really dig that.
I don't understand people who don't like figure things out. And I don't mean like... you're just in the golden age of information. So it's like,
Yeah.
I wonder how that works. It's like, look it up, man. It's all out there right now.
Yeah, heck yeah, for
So
sure.
like if I decided right now I want to become a drone pilot and start filming things, it's not easy, but you can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
You
I
can
love that
figure it
now.
out and practice. Go to a field, work on some stuff, And so that is kind of like we're in this golden era of if you want to work hard at it and find ways to save money and buy the things you need, you can do this. You don't really...
For sure, yeah, it's fun.
I'm sure there's some stuff you can learn if you go get a real education about it, but if you're motivated, you can figure it all out.
Absolutely,
all
man.
of it,
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah. What I've learned about just trying to defeat the dollar is like you don't need a lot of stuff to live. Like, kind of, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. Like right now, from my drone business, I've got a good amount of money saved up or whatever that I just don't touch like at all. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's super important. And now I'm just trying to figure out how to live extremely cheaply right now.
Yeah.
And then I just add to that pile. I really want my investments to pay for my standard of living, and then everything else I do to be gravy on top of that.
Dude, at your age, that's like the perfect mindset.
Yeah, I think that's so important for anybody out there.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, I built a bed in my car, like in my Toyota Corolla. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about just 5 months living in my Corolla or whatever.
what are you doing right now? An apartment or something?
Yeah, I live in an apartment with my brother. We split the rent.
Well, what would be your goal if you did 5 months? Just say 5 months worth of rent?
Yeah, 5 months worth of rent. And I'm thinking about right now, the main business I've been looking into right now is called pilot carring. It's like where if you see a heavy load out there, like a big truck or whatever, the two cars in front and the back or
Yes,
whatever
yeah.
that guide them. Like, I'm thinking about starting a business based around that. And I think it's just really behind on marketing, and I think now's a really good time. Like, nobody's doing like social media on it. Nobody's doing like all that kind of stuff on it. I think because I'm always looking for a good business to start, but everything seems like real hard bar to entry. But that seems like possible. That seems like...
Can you use just any car as long as you have the signage?
As long as you have the license, the signage, and you follow the federal rules. So there's like a lot. You have to have like a fire extinguisher. You have to have like all sorts of stuff like that. Cones.
Yeah, but what is that? You know, a month-long class or something where you learn these rules?
Yeah, I took a class in Mineral Wells actually, which is like west of Weatherford. It's insane. I got so lucky because like this class was like people were flying in to come to this class, and it was just right next to me, which was so weird. It was like the hub of it, which was nuts.
See, that's what you gotta do, man. I love a good side hustle.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know, and it's like people who don't understand, just find those pockets that feel like they're inconvenient or a little too much work for the average person. There's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah,
a lot of money, man. So the drone thing, though, that's what's supporting you right now?
Yeah.
And how did you decide to get into that again?
So I literally took a class with my brother. We were going to Chick-fil-A, saw a big billboard, said drones. That looked cool. Took it, and the teacher...
Did you know how to fly a drone at that point?
I think I flew like one or two, but just, shitty drones. Now we have like really good drones that we really like. They're really fun to fly. Well, you talk about the fly-throughs or whatever. That's FPV flying, and it's like the funnest type of flying. So you like put a visual thing, and then you see what the drone sees, and you can go super far. Getting those shots is like really fun.
What's the range on those right now?
God, I don't know on the FPVs, and I don't know on my main drone either. So the main drone I use is it's got like hyper zoom, and it's got multispectral cameras. So if you like fly over farmland or things like that, you can tell the chlorophyll content of the crops that are there.
Whoa.
And so farmers love that. They want to know that. And a lot of times you can hook it up to another drone, which I don't have, but I'm planning on getting. It's called an Agris that will spray seeds on those specific spots. So
that's badass.
Earlier you had to do like just flying through each row of the entire field and just drop seeds and drop water and pesticides, whatever you're doing. And then now you can just hit those certain spots that need it. So one drone will analyze the chlorophyll content, see this spot is weak or whatever, and then the other one can come over and drop whatever it needs to drop instead of doing the entire field.
So a farmer would be hiring you to do this?
Yeah.
So do you feel like it's getting to the point where that's going to offset cost for them to where that's that's a service that saves them money, or is it just a service that makes their job easier, or both?
Both. I mean, time is money, and it'll save tons of time. Like absolutely.
I think a lot about farming. A lot about farming. It's have you ever heard of the show Top Gear? Or
I've heard of it. Never watched it.
So the main host, Jeremy Clarkson, he does a show called Clarkson's Farm. So they're in Great Britain, and after he retired from doing a car show for 30 years. I think he owned farmland. Honestly, I think he turned it into farmland because it would help him get less taxes or something. But he genuinely is farming it. He's doing it for the love of it as well. But he's showing just how hard it is to make a buck as a modern farmer.
Yeah.
Once you buy all this expensive equipment, all these things, it's very interesting. And living in a place like Dallas, Texas, for instance, it's like our weather is so erratic. It's so hard to plan for, and I don't know how you successfully grow things when it's that. How do you plan for that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've just really been obsessed with thinking about I want to get into farming,
right?
But I don't want to farm in fields.
Yeah, that'd be hard, man.
Right, and so I keep thinking a lot about how do you get your food supply where you have healthy food and you have sustainable crops where if you have a drought, it doesn't wipe you out that year, or if you have too much rain, it doesn't wipe you out, or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
And so I have this dream of having a skyscraper that's just your farm.
Yeah.
Where you control all the elements, and it's of course, there's a lot of things I don't know about this, but
yeah.
But then I hear you talking about helping these farmers with drones like that. That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
That sounds like a game changer for actually making it profitable.
Yeah, it's fun. And a lot of them just want a map of their land. It's
but that's now.
do.
That's now.
Yeah.
How in 10 years, where's that going to be?
Yeah, exactly.
It's that's wild. That's when you started learning how to fly the drone, how did you switch from doing that to actually making it a business where you're making money?
Well, that was my original mindset in general for getting into it.
From seeing this billboard, that's what you thought?
Yeah, well, no, not from seeing the billboard, for going to the class. He just talked about all the opportunities that it makes, and it made total sense. And I was like, absolutely, yeah, let's do this. And so I had the money-making mindset from minute one. Yeah.
So this is going to come out the wrong way, but you I never would have expected you to be a guy that told me you have a money-making mindset.
Yeah. It's not the first time. Yeah.
Nothing about your look, your vibe.
Yeah, I'll say I'm a money-making mindset, and people are like, drug dealer. Yeah, like, absolutely. Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, you would be stereotyped as a person who's not looking to do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like, if it's fun, then I want to figure out a way to make money doing that. You know what I mean?
That's what it should be, right?
Yeah. I really like fun things.
Yeah. Do you ever worry that one of these businesses is going to get so successful that you won't want to do comedy anymore?
No.
You don't think so?
Nah.
You'll always split up the time?
For sure. And my business partner is my brother, super understanding about it. Like sometimes I have to leave and do stand-up, or I can't go to a job occasionally, and he's super cool about it, super chill.
So how long have y'all been running the company?
About 3 years now.
So is that the phase where you're just working like 7 days a week, or?
No, there's a lot of work that you do when you're not working. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that going on. But
you just you make your own time pretty much, right? Other than actually being out somewhere on an actual site, right?
Yeah, a lot of the time. Yeah, it's a quick thing that we do when we go there. Now it's gotten to the point where it's so streamlined. It's super quick when we go there, and going back is a lot of the work. But yeah, it's very, I love the profit margins of it specifically. That's the cool part. You get one job, great profits. Like,
gotcha.
So you got a lot of time afterwards, which is great. It's just you got to make sure you get that job. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you feel like is the next phase with that business then?
I really want to get into more fly-through work and more fun stuff like that or whatever. A lot of the work we do is utility-based, and so I'd love to get into the more creative side of it, which would be pretty fun. Yeah, I really like real estate photography is probably the biggest thing known for drones. Is like it's a super saturated market, which is why I'm not into it right now. We've done it, but there's a lot of drone pilots out there that'll do it for like 2 cents, and so you're going to compete with them. Like they're going to go out there and do it for pennies.
Yeah, and I would think it's just not. I would think the barrier to entry on that is a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Like you could probably get good at that relatively quickly.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's what all of real estate feels like, honestly.
It's just doing the unique thing that the other guy's not. Like that's pretty much all it is.
What do you think is the most creative thing you could do with the drone that like kind of really gets your mind going?
Anything to do with videography would be very cool, and I haven't really delved into that as much as I'd like to. But But again,
have you ever filmed anything? You ever filmed anything creatively just for fun? Not involving
yeah,
a
just
drone
for fun.
even?
I've gone to creeks and stuff and like flown it around, and you have to learn, especially the FPV drone. That's
no, I mean outside of drones. You ever made like any little movie or any short thing or anything?
No, I haven't. I've thought about like movies and stuff, and I've written out some stuff or whatever. But
maybe you should start there. Like while you're doing the drone, maybe you should just grab your cell phone and just see if you can make like a
that'd be fun
2-minute whatever. Just to start teaching you a little bit about like lighting and kind of how to set up like moods and
I'd
themes.
be definitely
and stuff.
down.
I'm still learning a lot. I don't have it down, but
something going on here, man. Thing's
well,
pretty sick.
the only comedy thing I've done was with Lawrence Rosales. We filmed his special.
Oh,
and
nice.
that taught me.
You?
Yeah,
heck yeah, man.
That taught me a lot. And then I'm going to do one later this year. I can't say with who yet, but we're going to film one in October, and so it's got its own new challenges. But I loved movies growing up. Like we went to like movie theaters all the time.
Heck yeah, man.
All the time. I don't know. Did y'all do that?
Yeah.
Was that part of your childhood?
Theaters all the time, yeah.
I just feels like theaters are dying, so I never know who's.
Yeah. Do you go to the Texas
going.
Theater a lot?
No, I haven't been there actually.
Oh, dude, you got to go. It's really fun.
Okay.
They have like a movie list. It's old movies, not new movies.
Yeah,
Sometimes new, but a lot of them are old. And a lot of good ones. We went and saw The Thing there. That was great.
Okay.
It's phenomenal.
Okay.
And we went and saw Monty Python. And we saw something else. I can't remember. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I just love going to a theater, and then I have this affinity for movies, I think. Like, it was just such a big part of growing up. And I want to do more, film more comedy things, but now all I think about with the comedy stuff is I hate cold opens where it's just, welcome to the stage, Danny McGough, boom, and special starts.
Right, yeah.
I like the kind of cinematic buildup of like, get me in the mindset of what this special is going to be about
cool,
a little
man.
bit. So like with Lawrence, his a lot of his material, he called it Trina after his mom Trina, because a lot of the material was about his struggles with like addiction and anger and all these things, and it kind of tied into how his mom had a lot of those similar issues. He was raised by his grandma, and some of his like weird childhood upbringing moments that happened. But for him, it was kind of about like closing this chapter of his life, because now he had a crippling meth addiction. He went through a divorce, and they have a child together, and he had all these problems, and the woman who raised him was his grandmother. She had passed away. He talks about that in a set. And so it's kind of like this, now he's sober. He's got his life back together in a lot better situation. And, so he's moving on. And so it felt like, okay, we're shutting that down. We're closing it out.
Gotcha. Cool.
And so I was able to find this great song about, it wasn't like a happy, like, let's get ready for comedy.
Right.
It was like a depressing song about, like the main words were like, I'm in a bad way once again. If you see me walking the streets, tell me where I've been.
Gotcha.
Things like that.
Wow, okay.
Kind of setting it up a little darker and making him look a little bit more like a loser. But at the same
Gotcha.
time, he was dressed up in a suit in the intro sequence. And so I like that whole idea of like, when you turn it on, kind of thinking like, well, what is this? Where's it going?
Yeah.
Let me see what's happening.
That's cool.
Kind
Yeah.
of setting it up that way. And
Never thought about it. That's cool.
I don't know. I mean, everybody's got it's harder to do, I think, with a guy like Nate Bargatze because he's so lighthearted.
Yeah,
it's like, well, what are we really going to get into here?
Okay.
But I kind of like these people that have problems or like it's kind of cliche to be like, your demons or whatever. But I like people that have these themes with their sets.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really
and
like.
then see if I can match that theme some.
Gotcha. Okay. Like the first thing that comes to mind is like Bill Hicks or something. Like.
I don't, honestly, I'm not too knowledgeable about him. Though.
Gotcha. I don't think he's funny, I'll be honest with you. But I
mean,
think,
I've heard the name.
but like his like seriousness of like what he's talking about or whatever
Yeah.
is like that. And I take that back. I love his Letterman. He like came on Letterman and did a lot of stand up like throughout. He was like one of the very early comedians or whatever, and he would do like 5-minute sets like all throughout. Those were hilarious. Those were very, very funny.
Okay.
But his specials were like very serious. Like he was like very political, very like spiritual, very whatever. And I liked it. It was cool in that kind of way, but I didn't think it was like
it's not the funniest.
Very funny.
Yeah, that's the hard thing because I do enjoy I enjoyed the serious aspect of his stuff, but I don't want super serious comedy all the time. It's kind of hard. I'm still trying to understand what I
dig serious serious stand up. I like the other better, but I do dig serious stand up. Like I feel like
even like a really silly one. Tom Segura, one of his specials. Before he was mega Tom Segura, like he was already pretty popular, but he was filming, I think, like in L.A., wherever he was living at the time, and he's doing this real cinematic sequence where he's like hitting up all the local spots, and he's like the man that people know him and stuff. But the gag through that whole setup is that none of these people know who he is, and they don't like, who the fuck is this guy, And so while he's like, this is my town, and these are my people, he's like in like an Asian restaurant, and they're like looking at him like kind of crazy, like who is this guy, And then it ends with him being on the street, and there's like these two like gangster looking black dudes, and he's trying to act like he's in on this, and it like the music cuts, and he's like, who the fuck are you? He's like, get out of here, like he's heavier than. And they're like, get out of here, you fucking fat bitch with your pancake titties and all this stuff. But it kind of set up the type of humor we're about to see.
Yeah.
So I kind of, that's maybe what I mean by a theme. It's like, even if you are more lighthearted, it's like kind of get me in the zone of where we're going.
Right, yeah, I could see that.
I just always thought that was interesting rather than just like, welcome to the stage. And then you come out in front of a theater and let's show the shot of all the people that bought tickets and look, you're big and successful. And it's like, give me something a little different, but I say all that, but I've done one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, things to think about.
We'll see where it goes,
Hell yeah.
But yeah, the drone world, man, that I think there's a lot of unexplored territory there, like cinematically.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be cool. I see like tons of Instagram reels where like, I got to do that. Like, I got to try that.
I was following this one guy for a while who would do he'd find like an abandoned warehouse and do those fly-throughs where he's just going on edge, pushing the limits.
Wow.
And but like when you crash those, what's the downtime on that? Do you just like put a new blade on it, or
some of them are built for crashing, some of them are not.
What do you mean it's built for crashing?
So like a lot of them are real durable, like real durable.
Okay.
So if you crash, you'll break all the blades, and you'll break maybe a frame that you can detach and reattach and things like that. Very hard to break.
So it's more modular.
Yeah, very hard to break. Like the FPV one specifically, because you're flying crazy shit when you're flying that. You're flying insanely. And so that's built to take a hit for sure.
Gotcha.
At the one we use utility wise, you cannot break it. I mean, that's like we have insurance on it. It's like it's like at least $6,000. You got to like,
oh my God,
not like you got to
$6,000 drone. Mm-hmm. Well, that's got to be because all the imaging equipment you have, right? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the drone.
Yeah, the camera itself is very, but the drone itself is also incredible. Like, I mean,
is it what makes that worth $6,000 as a drone? Is it just the stability, or what is it?
the software, it's DJI, which is Chinese. It's a Chinese company.
I have their gimbal.
Absolutely, yeah. They have also sell the lapels. They're big on that or whatever. But it actually started as a toy company, but then they just became this huge conglomerate in the drone industry. It's the drone if you're going to buy a drone, and then nothing American competes, which is scary. But
it's crazy, right?
Anyway, yeah. But it's very out of the box. Like if you set it down, turn it on. I mean, it just works like a charm. You can chart out things where you don't even have to set the remote right here, and it does the whole map for you. And
You're charting it on like
everything.
a laptop or what?
It's basically an iPad that's a controller. That's basically what it is. So you chart everything out right there with your finger.
But what are you charting it on? You just pull up like Google Maps or something?
Yeah,
or?
it has a map overlay. Sometimes it's Google Maps. Sometimes it's a map that you've already established onto Google Maps.
Gotcha.
You can do that. And then I think there's another mapping that it does too that's not Google, but I can't remember. But yeah, and it's just so easy. That's the biggest thing about it.
Dude, even their gimbal. So I did this quick like video series with this guy, Joe Tacky out in Fort Worth. He has a studio, musician, but he records a lot of stuff. And he wanted to do this type of recording where you bring in a band, like a rock band, not like an acoustic thing. You put one microphone in the middle of the room, all the amps, drums, everything, and record. You just move them around in the room where that one microphone can capture everything perfectly. And so it was this very minimalist idea of recording, which is how they used to record all the records. But it's harder now with loud instruments. So if you want the drums quieter, you either got to move the drums back or you got to play quieter or both.
Okay.
Right? And so it was just a unique style of recording that he thought like, hey, maybe we'll film this and I'll get some interesting content, maybe get my studio, some business while giving these bands promotion.
Gotcha.
And so in like the minimalist theme, I was like, well, why don't we just film it all with a cell phone? And so I got like a little tiny anamorphic lens for a cell phone for this iPhone.
Yeah.
And then got a DJI gimbal, and it's just and that's what we did. We just shot one. And so they would do one take, of just, we're not going to edit any of this. It's like, you're going to record and that's it. And then I'm going to film and that's it. And we just sync it. And there's no editing afterwards. All the editing is right now live. But I do remember that about that gimbal. Like, I'd never had any experience using one, and it just felt like the easiest, most intuitive product.
Yeah,
they're
great. Yeah,
and the videos, like for what they were, I thought I was really happy with them. I was like, I can't believe how smooth and professional this looks for just a fucking phone and a gimbal.
Cool. Yeah,
So I can only imagine what their drone's like.
Heck yeah.
When you're dropping money on it.
Yeah, it's nuts.
What do you think the next thing you'll do to kind of amp that up? Like, if you want to do more of the fly-through stuff and make cool videos, what's going to be like your first attempt here soon?
I'd probably go to a restaurant or something and say, can I fly through for free? Like that kind of thing. Give you all the footage, edit it, give it to you for
What do you
free.
think is the first more creative thing you would do rather than just business? What do you think is a creative outlet for that drone that you would want to do?
I really want to get comfortable with it, so I would probably try the racing. I think that would be really cool. They have FPV drone racing. And if you can do that, you can film anything, man.
Watching that, by the way, I know it's already a huge sport, but I'm shocked it's not a like a mainstream. Like, we're about to have the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised drone racing, because when you watch the speed and the agility that they have, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane, man. And
it's crazy. I wouldn't put it on the same league as football if that's what you're saying, man.
It's not. But what I'm saying is, knowing where that technology is going, could you imagine? I mean, I guess it's hard because if you're watching in person, you don't really get it.
Gotcha.
But imagine if they set up like a course through AT&T Stadium.
Right.
Like no fans, they just set up a course there, and all of us just get to watch it at home. Through, you can choose. Am I watching it right through their thing, or it's a pretty big it's intense. I guess is what I'm saying.
It's pretty intense. Yeah, I know it's really cool because the place I do a lot of my work, it was like they had set up all these. It was early days of drones, and they set up all these like courses and things like that, and it's like the grandfather of all the drone racing or whatever. Wow. That location, it's insane. It's like this place like called Santo, Texas, which is way out there, and it's like it's nuts to think that's where that all
definitely
started.
Sounds like a West Texas town.
Yeah,
Is that where it is?
It's yes, it's west of Fort Worth, way west of Fort Worth.
Yeah,
and it was really cool to see that or whatever. But have you seen? You might have seen it. It's really cool. Military applications for this, of course, you probably know is giant. But like what just came out, everybody's trying to buy it. Is this It's called the Roadrunner, and it's a jet-propelled drone.
No, I haven't
It's
seen
just
that.
like a missile. That's all it is. It's a drone that's a missile. That's basically all it is. And it takes down enemy drones. It takes down entire jet fighters. It takes down everything. And it can land after. Like, I don't know if it can land after it takes it down, but if it misses or it doesn't do it, it comes right back down and it lands.
So it's like a kamikaze, but if it misses, we can recover.
Yeah, you can recover it or whatever. And missiles are so expensive that people are just buying up those like hotcakes. And it was made by this guy who's his name's Palmer Luckey, and he invented the Oculus Rift.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah, hell yeah. I named my fish it. Dude. It's great. I switched it. It's Lucky Palmer is my fish or whatever. But like he made the Oculus Rift. That's what he made, the VR headset or whatever. And I hate him because he sold it to Facebook. I think that's messed up. Like, but again, I also can't blame him because he like wanted to follow his dream of drone defense. Like that's all he wanted to do.
This probably gave him the startup money for it, right?
Yeah, and he's big in drone defense. And it's so weird that the number one thing that we defend against drones is nets. It's like the number one thing. It's just so weird.
Like, have you seen those? Have you seen those clips where there'll be a drone like flying over a farm in another country, and the way they take it down is like hit it with a stick?
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's like
crazy.
That's what
$6 million. Like just throw a stick at it. It's nuts, man.
Did you see some of the drone? I think they were. I guess you don't really call them bombs, but like they would put explosive on drones in like Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia right now.
Scary, man.
Yeah, and you see, there was a great one. Sorry, poor phrasing. There was a interesting
great one.
There was an interesting, it's fascinating in the sense of like, wow, look where we are, because these guys were running through this field looking like traditional warfare with regular guns, and then but they're running away from this drone where I don't know if it just gets close or if it's got some kind of sticky thing where it hits you. But, it's like they're just flying it in and trying to get it to explode around you.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's just weird. It's like you're using future warfare, but it's not the future. It's right now. It's happening.
It's bananas, man. And like with AI, it's just next level. Like, and it's so weird. You don't know what's coming after you, man, because like all of it's proprietary. I've signed a couple NDAs. And it's just, you never know it's the Wild West. You never know if it's going to be like a flamethrower on a drone burning down a building. You have no idea it's coming.
Yeah. And it's like, man, you would hope there would always just be like these virtuous applications, but really that's where it starts, right? War. It's going to start there.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I met a guy who he was like an acquaintance, like a friend of a friend, and he was flying drones for the military, but I think it was like the higher up ones that drop the bombs or whatever. And it was fascinating to think like he's on the cutting edge of this technology, but it's like you talk to him about it a little bit, and it's like he clearly has a ton of PTSD from his career, and it's like, what a wild just position of like, oh man, you get to fly drones. This is incredibly cool, like futuristic, and it's like, yeah, but I'm just killing people.
Yeah,
it's like, but he's just sitting in a box over here somewhere doing it.
It's bananas, man.
Yeah, and this was, I don't know, 7-8 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So who knows?
It's been around for a minute. Yeah. It's just growing bigger and bigger.
Yeah. That is. I mean, what do you think the line is going to be? Like at some point, aren't we just going to have? Okay, for instance, what's your take on the drones over the Northeast? Do we think these were drones? Is this a government thing?
Oh yeah, that thing. I don't know, man.
Since I'm talking to somebody who's kind of in the industry here.
Yeah, this is where I get conspiracy theory. I love it. Tell me.
Yeah.
I don't have no idea what it is. Like. My best.
Did you see videos though where you thought
for sure.
This feels like that, or?
Yes, I did. So like, what I think it is basically I think it's testing. That's all I think it is. I think it's either United States government testing or other country testing on heavily populated civilian areas. That's just, and either the United States government is acquiescing to these other countries for some specific reason, whether it's money or whether it's whatever. Or it's the United States itself doing testing for their own military. And what I think it is, and again, could be totally wrong, but what I think it is, I think they're trying to figure out a way to use multispectral cameras or some other X-ray style camera to see within buildings. And so they needed a heavily populated area like New Jersey or wherever. And I think it's been going on in other parts of the United States too. It's just caught a media train in New Jersey. And that's what I think is happening. I really
Which would make sense for their slow speeds and just hovering and...
exactly
gathering data.
It would be so simple to catch one of these drones. Like it'd be so easy for some redneck to go out there and find this drone, like easily. Like
which is why I think it's, you know, like if it happened over, you know, Garland, Texas, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, there was one in Fort Worth, and I got my Corolla and I drove up there and I just camped out there for 3 hours trying to find it.
So you saw one?
No, but I saw one on the news, and it was near a military base in Fort Worth, near Burgers Lake or whatever. And like I camped out there forever. I wanted to find that thing, man.
Well, that was my thought too. It's like if you're the United States government and there's drones in your shot, it's like you have whatever technology you need to just follow that to wherever it lands and go, what's going on, people?
Yeah, it's easy.
Like to say like we don't know. It's like what? You can't just follow it. You can't just get like an Apache helicopter and just see where it goes.
Easy, man. No way.
And like you said, you can't give me a helicopter and just throw a net around it real quick. Like, you know, like, what are you talking about?
Exactly, man.
Yeah, they're definitely holding out on us. That was my first thought when people were like, it's aliens. And I was like, no. I was like, I 100% think this is the government because like they would have to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's no way I'm going to fly a drone somewhere I'm not supposed to and no one's going to knock on my door the next day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure like with your company, you guys probably have to work. Do you have to work with the FAA at all?
Yep, all the time. That's why you get your license. Is the Part 107.
Yeah. So like, if I went and flew a drone over Love Field Airport without talking to anybody, not going to be very long until there
you're
are
get arrested.
Yeah. Whatever federal agency is going to be at my door going. Yeah. So we tracked this back here. We found all this information, and it's definitely you.
Yeah. Easily.
So,
it's nuts. A lot of custom drones that don't have remote ID are being made and things like that to try to get around that kind of stuff. And it's dangerous.
That's the flip side of that, though, right? As good as like government technology you'll get, there's the underground that will match that technology.
For sure. I hope so, too.
Right?
I hope that just
Well, it
keeps
always
going.
happens.
Yeah, it's
right?
great. And like freaking, oh my God, the FAA on that stuff is a nightmare. Like they're worried about us crashing into planes. Not a single recorded drone incident has happened where a drone hits a plane or hits a thing, and then a helicopter hits a plane the other day. Like, are you kidding me, man?
Yeah. Well, and you know, the moment that happens too, they start flooding you with more stories of more plane crashes, more small incidents, and it's like, you know, it's happening all the time. It's just it takes a big one and then it gets reported on for a while, and you're like, yeah. So you're worried about drones?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how does a helicopter fly
For
right
real,
into a plane?
man. Golly. Poor people. I mean, this is a nightmare.
Yeah. The drones, man. Would you work with the military if they ever asked you to?
I've done indirect work with the military before.
Yeah.
But I can't say what I did.
Sure.
But it gave me the warm and fuzzies. It wasn't bad. It wasn't evil. It gave me a good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be real hard to distinguish like what's ethical the more it grows.
For sure, yeah. This was pretty discernible, thank God, but it could totally not be at some point.
Yeah. It's not just going to be racing, right?
Yeah, it's not just going to be racing, man.
What would you think is the biggest fear with drone advancement? What would scare you the most that seems realistic?
Oh, geez.
Just your wildest dreams of it.
Yeah, it'd have to be an imagination, man. I don't know. I can't think of it, but it's there.
What scares you the most currently about it?
Probably the precision assassinations have been pretty scary. It's been happening in Ukraine and Russia, that whole war or whatever. It's been...
Explain what that is, because I get the context of it.
Yeah, so it's like instead of... and there's still collateral, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times they'll find a specific target that they want to attack, and it's easy to get to them. Like it used to be, you had to have special forces jump in there, or you had to level the entire place. There can be a drone that flies in undetected and find that person specifically and eliminate them. Like
within a building?
Yeah, within a building, within walls, within whatever. It just takes a certain amount of strategy, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Because you could just fly up, knock out a window with something and fly in, right?
Yeah, and get whoever. I mean, that's pretty scary. But again, that seems tame compared to what I bet I'm not thinking of, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Again, like having a 5-year-old, you wonder, like, you know, when he's 25 years old, it's like, what's that going to be like?
It's going to be nuts, yeah.
20 years from now, advancement in warfare and drone technology, you know. And again, on one hand, it's like you have the assassination attempts you're talking about, and then you've got like a realtor who's like, yeah, we got a nice...
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
We got a nice 3-2 here, good sized lot.
Heck yeah. That's exactly right, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it's weird that your drone is like capable of it. It's like, oh my God. Like what?
Do you know what the faster speeds are of drones? Because I've seen that incredible video where there's this small one who like You know, like it leans up and then it goes,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, 0 to 120 in like a second. you
Yeah,
know?
those are cool. I want one of those really bad. Red Bull sponsored one. I think it's the fastest one ever, and it went up against like a race car or something like that.
That's right. It went up against the F1 car.
Yeah, it's nuts. But I don't think it caught it, but it did. Like
Yeah, it hung with it.
It hung with it and filmed it the entire way, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, because it's a fucking F1 car.
Yeah, I believe a drone will make it though one day. I don't know, maybe not.
Well, it absolutely will.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, because I think that's what's wild about it is as complicated as they seem, it's like, no, man, it's just a helicopter, you know, on a small scale. Like, we know how this works, and you know the limitations of the physics that would make it faster or slower.
yeah. Show some juice in there, man.
Yeah,
That's all
and
it
with
takes.
and with no human being inside, you know, you don't worry about G forces or anything. So we can make this thing as streamlined as we need to.
Yeah,
Now,
talk about the defensive one I was telling you about earlier. I mean, the kamikazes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's jet propelled, so I'm sure it's faster now that I think about it. I mean, it's got a zoom.
with jet propelled though, like you know, fuel. It's like
Yeah,
now how do
gas
you
powered.
yeah
That's
how do you
crazy.
now you have a gas tank that weighs you down.
Yeah.
So I wonder what that balance is.
Yeah, there's a lot of ones that'll mix them. They'll have part gas, part just like a car, just like
the
a
hybrids.
Yeah, just like a hybrid car.
Yeah, because that's the only reason cars are going to be faster than what we can do now is that the on that low end where you're waiting on the gas engine to ramp up, it can just get the battery and go.
Yeah,
In that combination, yeah. Man, that's wild. I really like. I know we're painting like a little bit of a doomsday picture with some of this stuff, but I really hope we have scientific advancements where I can live for like 200 years.
yeah. No, me and my brother talk about that all
I
the
just
time.
want to see the future. Like, it's not like I want to live forever. It's just, it sounds so exciting. And
Yeah,
so
man.
I'm not, like you said, I don't think I can imagine where it's going to be by the time I'm 85 years old.
Yeah,
So if all I can do is like stay running, stay in good health, and then medical science can fix the major things, right? And keep you, you know, because what? It's just cell death. If you can figure out cell death, then you can live as long as you want, right?
Right, yeah.
But yeah.
that's nuts. Hey, do you think I could pee?
Yeah, actually, if you want, man, it's probably, let's wrap it up anyway, man. I've had a great time chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been
I
great.
got pee too. But yeah, man, I really enjoy the comedy. I'm excited to see where it goes. One thing I want to start wrapping up episodes with, though, is who do you think are some local comics that you feel like people should be watching?
Scott Crisp, Shiva Ari, Jimmy Nelson. Those are my top three. Go see them. Zach Webb too. Zach Webb is
Okay.
same level. Same. He's not an afterthought. He's the same level.
All right.
Zach Webb, Shiva Ari, Scott Crisp, Jimmy Nelson.
Zach Webb, remind me, dark hair, glasses, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got to watch him once, and I really want to watch him more.
Yeah.
Funny dude, real unique take on stuff.
He's great.
Love Scott Chris, man. Who was the other ones you said?
Shiva Ari
Mm-hmm.
and Jimmy Nelson.
Shiva was on the show that we recorded. He was one of the openers with Lawrence.
Heck yeah, man.
I think he moved down to Austin. Yeah. And what was the other one?
Jimmy Nelson.
Well, yeah, Jimmy. Actually, now I'm starting to have a problem with Jimmy.
Oh snap!
Jimmy, I'm calling you out, man. He's super funny. Love his comedy. Seems like a really nice guy. And we just can't ever seem to set a date to get him on this podcast.
Oh snap!
A couple times I've reached out. It just feels like, I don't know, maybe I'm being blown off a little. But then when you see him in person, like, super nice guy. And it's like, so whatever, dude. I don't know why you're not coming on, but whatever. I still support you, I guess. No, definitely great comics though. But anything else you wanna plug while you're here before you get out of here?
Probably got some stuff, but I forgot. So
You know, you can find it's Danny McGough on social media. Go look it up. But dude, really appreciate it, and welcome back anytime.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.